Chapter 451. Xiaofan and Rong, this pair of archenemies, finally met on a narrow path to fight to the death. However, neither of them made the first move. Rong's spiritual force was firmly locked onto Xiaofan. He used a scrutinizing gaze to size up Xiaofan. His eyes were burning as if he wanted to see through Xiaofan. He wanted to see through all of Xiaofan's secrets. Xiaofan, on the other hand, was silently preparing. The liquid spiritual force star in his sea of consciousness released waves of spiritual force. It merged with this hallucinatory demon palace. As long as Xiaofan willed it, the earth-shattering hallucinatory demon realm would attack Rong. Rong was possessed by the devil. Few strong. Really too strong. At this moment, Xiaofan was facing Rong head-on, and he couldn't help but sigh in his heart. As expected of the leader of a powerful plane, someone who stands at the top of the pyramid. Although he has been forced into an extremely difficult situation by me and his aura has fallen greatly, his aura and his bearing are still shocking. I, Xiaofan, am able to fight against such a great character. Before this, it was simply unimaginable. Rong did not use his ultimate technique to attack Xiaofan. He was observing Xiaofan inch by inch. At the next moment, Rong finally spoke. Expanded Meridian Realm. I can see it clearly now. It's the Expanded Meridian Realm. It's definitely the Expanded Meridian Realm. Moreover, from the fluctuations of life, he's only 10 years old. He's not even 100 years old. He's still wet behind the ears. Yes, the Expanded Meridian Realm has expanded very well. Your foundation is very solid. Xiaofan, if I'm not wrong, your Expanded Meridian Realm should be more than 2,000 times, right? This Rong actually spoke with fervor and assurance. His attitude made it seem as if he had Xiaofan firmly in his grasp, and had Xiaofan in his grasp. That's right. Although after entering the hallucinatory demon palace, Rong repeatedly suffered losses in Xiaofan's hands. Being restrained everywhere, Rong was not an ordinary person. Now, he was facing Xiaofan. After carefully analyzing Xiaofan, he discovered Xiaofan's age and cultivation. It was really difficult to pose a threat to him. Thus, the confidence and demeanor of a great character was re-established. Soon, Rong's aura became that of a monarch. Moreover, Rong's aura was completely locked on Xiaofan. As long as Xiaofan made any strange movements, it would trigger Rong's fiercest attack. Under such circumstances, Xiaofan had no way to escape. Without waiting for Xiaofan to reply, Rong continued. When I expanded my acupoints in the past, I expanded them by 1,500 times, but I'm probably not as good as you. However, expanding aperture realm. At the end of the day, you are only building your foundation, not your combat strength. In other words, Xiaofan, you are very weak right now. He couldn't even withstand a single blow. In front of this seat, they are like ants. Heh, Xiaofan laughed involuntarily. Yes. My cultivation base is nothing more than an ant in front of you. However, it is also an ant like me who has treated you as a demon hero and an elder of this plane. They fought until they were forced to retreat again and again until they were completely wiped out. It seems like it's really ironic. Rong's face went pale when he heard this, and the veins on his face swelled up while his eyes emitted an expression of deep resentment. Little bastard. You're cunning, humph. You were able to repeatedly assassinate the elites of my plane, it was all a trick. With your cultivation base, even a demon hero of this plane who is at the 9th stage of true Qi would be able to kill you. After pausing for a moment, Rong's expression calmed down again. He looked at Xiaofan as if he was looking at a pile of dead things. You can use the hallucinatory demonic realm to turn our people into devils. It seems like your mental strength is strong enough. Moreover, it is highly possible that you are hiding a immortal tool. As he spoke, Rong's eyes were dyed with greed and heat. Immortal tool. And this is the only explanation. Otherwise, no matter how strong your mental strength is, it would be impossible for you to use the hallucinatory demonic realm to successfully assassinate the great elder of this plane, Immortal tool. If I can obtain the Immortal tool in your hands, I can probably make up for the losses of this plane. Rong muttered to himself. Xiaofan. You are too arrogant. You actually dare to face this seat. Ha ha ha. Whatever methods you have, just use them all. Right now, this seat will make you wish you were dead. Chaos divine art. Kill for me. Finally, Rong did not continue to be long-winded. All the true qi in his body condensed. A strong immortal aura burst out from his half-immortal body. Countless true talismans exploded from his body, forming all kinds of talisman formations that were constantly being created and destroyed. Almost in an instant, Rong pushed all the true qi and the true meridians in his body to the extreme. He performed a divine secret technique that could destroy heaven and earth, kill people and destroy ghosts, and destroy all living beings. Rong grabbed with his big hand. Countless true qi fell from the sky. The holy song was loud and clear, and the immortal aura was melodious. It fell on the top of Xiaofan's head like a waterfall. As soon as Rong made his move, the void in all directions was torn apart by him. The fragile space was like a window made of paper. It could not resist his hand that covered the sky at all. He tore the void in the air. Immediately, thousands of long river cracks appeared in the depths of the space. Every long river had surging energy. These energies included starlight, Milky Way, nebula, frost, meteorites, flames, lightning. There were even traces of spatial cracks. All kinds of energy seemed to explode the entire world into chaos. It was as if heaven and earth were being split apart, order and rules were being destroyed, turning everything into chaos. New rules and order were being established. This level of true qi divine art had already surpassed the quality of most true qi divine arts. It was infinitely close to an immortal art. This was an attack that could destroy the world and descend a natural disaster. The rumbling impact and the aftermath of the attack caused the ground to crack. A river of flames, a river of lightning, a river of aurora, thousands of powerful attacks attacked Xiaofan with the power to destroy the world. At this moment, Rong's arrogance soared to the sky. He was insufferably arrogant and looked down on everyone. He was as tyrannical as a king who had descended on the world. The elegance of a big shot was displayed to its fullest. Violent and tyrannical, unparalleled under the heavens. Who could resist such an attack? Even the tower master of Xiaofan's plane did not have such a method. This Rong did not attack, but once he did, it was as powerful as lightning. No one could stop him. It contained hatred towards Xiaofan, and with powerful energy, methods, tyranny, and the attitude of a monarch, he crushed and destroyed everything that stood in his way. This was Rong, the leader of a powerful plane. He was definitely not some random person. Moreover, this was an attack launched in the hallucinatory demonic realm, where the density was extremely high. Rong's energy was even depleted by a third because he tampered with Xiaofan's body. Without a doubt, if it was outside, Rong would be at his peak state. Such an attack, Xiaofan would not be able to resist at all. Even his thoughts would not be able to keep up. In an instant, he would be blasted into dregs and turned to ashes. It is indeed powerful. This Rong is already an arrow at the end of its flight, but he is still so savage. Even those great elders that I killed, although they were all existences that had opened the heavenly eye, once they met Rong, they would die instantly without any suspense. This was Rong's killing blow. It definitely contained the power to cut off rivers and tear apart continents. It was also fortunate that it was inside the hallucinatory demonic palace. This Rong's attack speed was disrupted by the hallucinatory demonic realm, and it was much slower. Otherwise, my bones would have already turned to ashes now. In the time it took for sparks to fly off a flint, a lot of shock also emerged in Xiaofan's mind. Furthermore, Xiaofan also had self-awareness. He was relying on the environment of the hallucinatory demonic palace. Only then could he contend with Rong. In terms of combat power, he and Rong were really worlds apart. If it was outside the hallucinatory demonic palace, even if Xiaofan made the first move and executed his strongest demonic technique, most likely, he would also be instantly turned around by Rong and directly killed. Xiaofan. A frontal attack. This seat wants to see what you use to block it. After locking onto your position and restricting your mysterious movements, you are just trash. Rong roared savagely. Right now, Rong's attack was like a huge iron hammer descending from the sky and smashing towards an egg. Without a doubt, once it was smashed, the entire egg would explode into pieces. In the split second when Rong's attack was about to hit Xiaofan, the hallucinatory demonic realm that covered the sky was compressed by several times, causing a large area of space to become turbulent and all kinds of illusions to appear. Moreover, the air became unbearably dense. The hallucinatory demonic realm that was compressed was like a lump of paste, tightly wrapping around Rong's killing blow. Slow. The attack that was originally as fast as lightning and a thunderous strike, under the penetration of the demonic realm, actually suddenly slowed down. Xiaofan's eyes and hands were sharp. He moved like a fleeing rabbit and instantly jumped away. Although his figure was in a somewhat sorry state, he still managed to dodge it. What? He actually dodged this seat's all-out attack. Rong's attack that was almost in the bag was actually dodged by Xiaofan, causing him to be shocked. Activating the hallucinatory demonic realm to interfere with this seat's killing blow. This hallucinatory demonic realm is formless and material, pervasive and pervasive. Even true qi can permeate through it. Truly powerful. However, what's even more powerful is that you, Xiaofan, can control the hallucinatory demonic realm as you please. It's as if the hallucinatory demonic realm in this devil palace is a part of your body. How powerful. This seat has seen countless people, but I've never seen such a genius like you. However, although you can control the hallucinatory demonic realm and interfere with this seat's attack, it also consumes a lot of your mental strength, right? In the end, you will still die. There's no suspense. Rong Ao roared. It's my turn to attack. After Xiaofan dodged Rong's killing blow, he didn't have the slightest bit of negligence. At the critical moment, his mental strength once again wrapped around the hallucinatory demonic realm that was nearly 10,000 meters in circumference. He instantly compressed it and directly enveloped Rong. All of a sudden, between heaven and earth, a kind of earthen yellow color emerged. In the next moment, the center of this earthen yellow color suddenly exploded. A earthen yellow snake head rose up like a giant dragon. It opened its bloody mouth and viciously swallowed Rong. Of course, this was not the real snake head. It was an illusion formed by the hallucinatory demonic realm. Boom! Suddenly, this earthen yellow snake head with protruding horns scuttled into Rong's brain. As if he was filled with wisdom. Puchi. In Rong's brain, a strange sound burst out. All of his movements actually came to a halt. All the true qi attacks were instantly affected and vanished like smoke in thin air. Enter the devil state for this young master. Xiaofan roared sternly. Rong. A leading figure of a powerful plane. This young master will slaughter. Obtain accumulation. Oh. Relying on this move to make my plane's people succumb to the devil state and die one after another? Suddenly, Rong's facial expression became ferocious. As expected, after a large amount of hallucinatory demonic realm is compressed and directly poured into the brain and sea of consciousness, even those great elders of this plane can't bear it. Xiaofan successfully used the hallucinatory demonic realm to bombard Rong's sea of consciousness, just like how he dealt with the evil hero and the elders of Rong's plane before. If there was no accident, Rong's movement would be completely confined. He could only activate his spirit and soul to resist the hallucinatory demonic realm. After losing the ability to resist, he would be refined alive by Xiaofan. Boiling a frog in warm water. However, on Rong's face, there was actually a fearless expression. This seat has been thinking about how to deal with this move of yours for a long time. Ha ha ha. Immortal Qi energy. Burn for this seat. Boom, from every pore and cell of Rong's body, immortal Qi rushed out, rolling like smoke. Thousands of strands of immortal Qi curled up and all seeped into the heavenly eye in between Rong's eyebrows. All of a sudden, Rong's heaven eye burst forth with boundless brilliance and magnificence. All of a sudden, all the immortal Qi poured into Rong's sea of consciousness through the heavenly eye and began to repel the hallucinatory demonic realm that attacked Rong's sea of consciousness. Rong's facial expression became incomparably calm, and insufferably arrogant. Idiot. This seat has the body of a half-immortal. Do you think that it's so easy to be possessed by the devil? What an idiot. This seat's body contains immortal Qi. By burning this immortal Qi and merging it into the sea of consciousness, it can strengthen the spirit and protect the soul. Ha 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 ha. You probably think that since you can make the great elders of this plane to be possessed by the devil, you can certainly make this seat to be possessed by the devil too, right? Ha 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 ha. Really funny. Yes, the 6 great elders who died in your hands had the same realm as this seat. They all opened 101 true acupoints and opened the heavenly eye. Once they opened the heavenly eye, they could see the immortal Qi between heaven and earth and collect the immortal Qi to condense their body and cultivate the body of a half-immortal. But, this seat opened the heavenly eye thousands of years earlier than the 6 great elders. Ha ha ha. In this plane, at least 70% of the immortal Qi was absorbed by this seat. The 6 great elders only divided the remaining 30% of the immortal Qi together. Ha ha ha. This seat's immortal body, as well as the immortal Qi energy stored in my body, far surpassed the 6 great elders. This seat consumes the immortal Qi to make this seat maintain the purity of my soul and not be possessed by the devil. Xiaofan, your time of death has come. Chapter 452. Ha 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 ha. Xiaofan, you scum. Why aren't you dead yet? Rong burst into hysterical laughter, tears bursting out from his eyes. At this moment, his entire body was bathed in the ethereal immortal Qi. Sacred light crisscrossed, and his mind was clear and bright. The hallucinatory demonic realm that had infiltrated his consciousness was forcibly dispelled, and even purified. Xiaofan, your expanded aperture realm cultivation is worse than an ant. Your only trump card is to use the hallucinatory demonic realm to kill with a borrowed knife. But now, this seat completely ignores these hallucinatory demonic realm. My mind is clear and my mind is clear. This seat would like to see what other tricks you have. Ha ha ha. Vengeance. This seat will crush you bit by bit, inch by inch. Revenge for the outstanding talents of my plane. When this seat leaves this hallucinatory demonic palace and reaches the outside, I will definitely force you to reveal the coordinates of that trash plane and personally lead an army to suppress it. All the females of your plane will be reduced to the lowest level prostitutes, all the males of your plane will be killed into dregs. All the living beings of your plane will be used as a blood sacrifice for the many talents of my plane that have passed away. This Rong, compared to those great elders killed by Xiaofan, was much, much stronger. The immortal Qi stored in his body was too abundant. Xiaofan suddenly stopped moving. His entire body did not move an inch as he looked at Rong indifferently and muttered. Really difficult to deal with. Looks like I can only use my final trump card, what? Xiaofan. You are actually so calm. What a joke, your life is like a fish on the chopping board, ready to be slaughtered by this seat. You are still pretending to be mysterious? Really stubborn. Rong laughed sinisterly and pointed at Xiaofan. Now, it is useless even if you deliberately act mysterious. you will die without a doubt. No one in this world can save you. Rong did not believe that Xiaofan could turn the tables. The difference in strength between both sides was too great. There was no possibility of turning the tables. Xiaofan, the only thing you can rely on is the hallucinatory demonic realm in this devil palace. Right now, the hallucinatory demonic realm is ineffective against this seat. You are as anxious as a stray dog. Accept your fate. Rong's arrogance was extremely arrogant. And Xiaofan. Pfft. Do you really think that my trump card is only this hallucinatory magic realm? Wrong. Suddenly, the corner of Xiaofan's mouth pulled into a cold smile. His eyes flashed with extreme excitement and eagerness. Keng, the crisp sound of a blade being unsheathed rang out from Xiaofan's eyes. Xiaofan's temperament. It began to rise steadily. Become sharp. Become cold. He became like a king. Overlooking the world. He had an ominous premonition. It instantly seized Rong. Hong, a heaven-defying saber aura soared into the sky from Xiaofan's body. His great accomplishment stage saber intent was instantly brewed to the extreme. Yes, Xiaofan's true trump card. It wasn't just the hallucinatory bewitching realm, but saber intent. To put it simply, the power of saber intent was closely related to two aspects. First, saber intent and one's own realm. Xiaofan's saber intent was at the great accomplishment stage. 2. The strength of his mental energy. Xiaofan cultivated the extinguishing sky decimating earth mental technique and cultivated to the 19th set of mental finger technique. The mental energy in his sea of consciousness was thick and viscous, almost solidifying, causing every drop of mental energy to be as heavy as a mountain. At this moment, Xiaofan had almost drained all the mental energy in his sea of consciousness and added it to the great accomplishment stage saber intent. Suddenly, a white light that was as dense as fog seeped out from Xiaofan's sea of consciousness. Rays of light, auspicious air, heavenly flowers fell, hymns flew. At the same time, Xiaofan's eyes also became domineering and sharp, revealing his sharp edge and penetrating everything. The air of a king gushed out unrestrainedly. Pooh! 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 Wisps of saber intents were emitted from the white light and exploded in the sky like a divine glow. In an instant, a huge formation of saber intents appeared in the sky. Saber immortals, saber sovereigns, and saber artists could be seen walking in it. The saber chi traversed tens of thousands of miles, slaughtering the heavens, destroying the ages, and destroying the universe. The next moment, the saber light that filled the sky condensed into a natal saber chi with a radius of several meters and a length of several hundred meters. It also contained Xiaofan's mental energy, shining like a pillar. With a whoosh, with the speed of light, it suddenly slashed towards Rong. This saber chi cut through the void, killing gods and ghosts, slaying demons and immortals. Its speed surpassed light. The saber chi cut through the sky, indestructible, indestructible, and shook violently, causing the heavens and earth to resonate. The saber chi cut through the entire hallucinatory demon palace, causing countless illusions to explode. Ashes and smoke dispersed. The hallucinatory demon palace, which was formed purely from the hallucinatory demon realm, had large areas of destruction, showing the smell of fragmentation. The airflow between heaven and earth fluctuated wildly. Where the saber chi vibrated, tornadoes appeared, piercing through the void, destroying all 6 paths. Humans and beasts were not spared. What? Natal saber chi? All of a sudden, Rong screamed in shock. His hair stood on end, and a chill ran down his spine. Every pore on his body was invaded by the saber chi, making him feel like he had fallen into an ice cellar. In the blink of an eye, Rong activated his life potential. In his third eye, the immortal aura surged like tides. His movements were unbelievably fast. With a slight shake of his body, a shadow was left behind. At the critical moment, he dodged the saber chi that was faster than the speed of light. This dodge seemed simple, but in fact, it consumed Rong Hai's immortal chi. It was almost a life-saving dodge, and he was in a sorry state. However, whoosh, then, something strange happened. The natal saber chi that Rong had dodged and brushed past him suddenly changed direction. This natal saber chi, as if it had a mind of its own, turned around and slashed towards Rong from behind. One should know that the natal saber chi had been strengthened by Xiaofan's mental energy, which was equivalent to a part of Xiaofan's body. Xiaofan could control it as he pleased, as if it was his own arm. He could change direction at will, and turn around at will. It was very mysterious. This time, Rong could no longer dodge. Roar! Bastard! Little bastard! Rong let out an unwilling and desperate howl like a wild beast that was on the verge of extinction. The next moment, puff, the natal saber chi swept across Rong's body. Whoosh whoosh whoosh, the lingering aura of the saber chi swarmed into Xiaofan's sea of consciousness like tired birds returning to their nests. Xiaofan's face was extremely pale, and his eyelids were as heavy as lead. He was on the verge of collapsing. One should know that this slash was aimed at an almost invincible figure. Xiaofan could not be allowed to make any mistake. He must kill him with one strike. Otherwise, there would be endless troubles in the future, and he might be killed instead. Therefore, this slash had used up all of Xiaofan's natal saber chi and mental energy to execute this slash with all his might. After this slash, Xiaofan felt as if he was hollowed out and wanted to fall asleep. As for Rong, he stood still and looked at Xiaofan indifferently. What a powerful saber intent! I have never seen such a dazzling sight. Such a brilliant slash. In the sky and on the ground. There shouldn't be such a slash. But I didn't expect. Xiaofan, you actually executed such a slash. It seems that your mental energy is really too terrifying. It's beyond my imagination. Sigh. I really didn't expect a head-on confrontation. I will still die in your hands. Shockingly. I still can't accept this. In this hallucinatory devil palace, I am affected by the interference of the hallucinatory devil realm. My attack power is greatly weakened, causing my battle strength to be less than half of my peak. If we were outside, Xiaofan, you wouldn't be able to kill me. If we were outside, the one who would die would definitely be you. Xiaofan, do you admit it? Oh, Xiaofan shrugged his shoulders. Yes. I admit that if we weren't in this hallucinatory devil palace, even if my saber intent was mighty, I definitely wouldn't be able to kill you. You could kill me with one finger. But, there aren't so many ifs in this world. Winner takes all, loser takes all. Death is death. Winner takes all. Death is death. Rong let out a miserable laugh. Pooh. 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 Immediately after, firecracker-like sounds rang continuously from Tsong Rong's body. In an instant, his body was densely covered with tens of thousands of saber scars. Finally, bang. Rong's body exploded into a pile of minced meat and powder. Even the true chi spirit stones and treasures stored in his true acupoints were all cut and shattered. I finally killed a great figure. It wasn't easy. This great accomplishment saber intent is indeed matchless and invincible. It can even cut the body of a half-immortal. But it consumed too much of my strength. Once Rong died, Xiaofan collapsed from exhaustion and suddenly fell down. However, at this moment, Xiaofan's temperament was even more stable. The true acupoints in his body were even more smooth and flawless. Killing Rong allowed Xiaofan to obtain indescribable accumulation and benefits. 1 hour later, Xiaofan finally let out a sigh of relief. He was not in a hurry to leave this hallucinatory devil palace. Instead, he sat cross-legged and looked down. Both of his hands formed a seal and absorbed the hallucinatory devil realm that was wandering around him to replenish his lost mental strength. At the same time, Xiaofan was also evaluating and concluding. Seriously speaking, it wasn't my natal saber chi that could cut Rong's half-immortal body with one slash. The reason why I killed him so easily was because he did something to my body and locked onto my life aura fluctuation, which consumed some of my energy. Then, I activated the hallucinatory devil realm and blasted it into his sea of consciousness. He had no choice but to consume his immortal chi energy to avoid being possessed by the devil. After all, his consumption was too great. Forget it, I don't care so much. I will take a good rest for a few hours to recover my mental strength and physical strength. Then, I will leave this devil palace. After a few days of cultivation in this devil palace, I have gained a lot. It has laid a solid foundation for me to enter the genius zone. Now, I have some capital to compete with the geniuses from other planes. Outside the hallucinatory devil palace. At this moment, the hundreds of evil heroes in Rong's camp were in a state of chaos. And the evil heroes on Xiaohan's side were in a state of shock and speechlessness. What? There's only one exit left? Our many elders, our many evil hero companions, and the great Lord Rong, they. Could it be that they will be trapped in the hallucinatory devil palace? Roar! The evil heroes on Rong's side all looked as if they had lost their parents. There's only one exit left. Xiao Mingchu couldn't help but look worried. This is a little dangerous. I don't know if the last one to come out will it be junior brother Xiaohan? Chapter 453. At this time, outside the hallucinatory devil palace, there was a complete uproar. Especially the people of Rong's side, except for Xiaohan's 5 slaves, all of them were grimacing in pain, scared out of their wits, and lost their composure. What's going on? Why is there only one exit left? There are 1,000 exits. Why is it like this? Only a few hundred people have been teleported out from our side and that trash plane. There should be hundreds of exits left. Why is there only one? Is there a mistake? There must be a mistake. Otherwise, it's impossible. With Lord Rong's means, he is almost invincible, and all the great elders are powerful figures. The hallucinatory devil palace can't stop them. There must be a mistake. The chivalrous people of Rong's side all screamed at the same time. They couldn't accept the fact that there was only one exit left. Gradually, their tone was full of doubt. And Xiaohan sighed, Tower Master, if there is only one exit left, there is a mistake in the calculation of the number of people teleported out. 1,000 exits will not disappear automatically. For every person teleported out, there will only be one exit that disappears. Less than 200 people teleported out from our side, and less than 200 people on Rong's side. There should be more than 600 exits left. Could it be that the exit has been destroyed and there is only one left? This is equivalent to breaking the rules of the hallucinatory devil palace. This is against the natural order. An elder said to the Tower Master in fear and trepidation. Suddenly, a few chivalrous people walked over slowly. These few chivalrous people had been kidnapped by Rong as hostages to lure Xiaohan into the trap. One of the chivalrous people lowered his voice and said to the Tower Master, it's Xiaohan who did it. Xiaohan can destroy the exit. Xiaohan can not only use the hallucinatory devil realm to kill the people on Rong's side, but also he can destroy the exit unscrupulously. We have stayed in the hallucinatory devil palace for a few days, and we are very clear about these things. The Tower Master screamed out, and then quickly glanced at the chivalrous people on Rong's side with the corner of his eyes, and quickly fell silent. Then, he spoke in a voice so soft that it was almost inaudible. If that's the case, then, all the elders of the Rong Plain will be buried in the illusory devil palace. There's only one exit left. Even if they are still alive, they won't be able to come out. It's too horrifying. Even I can't calm down. There are so many elders. There were also a few elders who had opened their heaven eyes. Just like that, he died in Xiaofan's hands. What kind of immortal artifact does it have? Within the hallucinatory demon palace. After several hours of recuperation, eating and refining a large amount of hallucinatory magic mirror, Xiaofan's mental energy had already recovered to its original state. His physical strength had also reached its peak. He felt refreshed. Spirit reaches to the rainbow. The only flaw was that his natal saber chi had yet to be completely replenished. The saber strike that killed Xiao Rong nearly drained all of Xiaofan's life saber chi. After several hours of recuperation, Xiaofan's life saber chi had only recovered about 20 to 30%. Xiao Chen's life saber chi recovered rather slowly. Alright. Let's go out. Now that we've dealt with this powerful enemy, I'm sure that the people from our plane will not encounter any more obstacles on the way to the space springboard. Xiaofan stretched his body. He strode forward with large strides towards the last exit. As he walked, he couldn't help but let his mind wander. After reaching the space springboard, we'll be able to teleport to the Genius Zone as we wish. The day of the opening of the Genius Zone is getting closer and closer. I wonder how many influential figures of the planes will gather in the Genius Zone. I wonder what kind of immortal artifacts there are in the Genius Zone. I'm really looking forward to it. Xiaofan was familiar with the way and finally arrived at the last exit. Get out. Xiaofan no longer hesitated and stepped into the exit. The stable power of spatial teleportation immediately wrapped around Xiaofan and pulled him slightly, causing him to enter the teleportation state. At the same time, the exit began to close and disappear. The entire hallucinatory magic palace. Rumble. 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 Disintegrate. Melt. Dissipate. Collapse. Outside the hallucinatory magic palace. The people of Rong's plane and Xiaofan's plane were clearly divided. They were all discussing among themselves and the situation was rather tense. At this moment, boom. 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 The hallucinatory magic palace not far away collapsed. It turned into many hallucinatory demonic boundaries and completely disintegrated. The sky was filled with auspicious light, beautiful luster, and rosy clouds. The huge hallucinatory devil palace seemed like it was about to completely dissipate. What? The hallucinatory magic palace is starting to disintegrate? The heroes of Rong's plane and Xiaofan's plane were shocked by the scene in front of them. At the same time, an auditory hallucination resounded in everyone's ears. The hallucinatory magic palace has been destroyed. 1,000 exits have all disappeared. The hallucinatory magic palace has been destroyed. 1,000 exits have all disappeared. As the auditory hallucination dissipated, the entire hallucinatory magic palace turned into streaks of scattered hallucinatory magic realm and flew in all directions like ribbons. Rong. Lord Rong and the elders. What happened? Where are they? Where are our people? I can't see them. We still have hundreds of people in the Devil Palace. Now that the Devil Palace has been destroyed, why are our people gone? Where did they go? The heroes of Rong's plane were now all screaming in horror. They kept rubbing their eyes and staring at the location of the Devil Palace that had been disintegrated into thousands of strands and was covered with clouds and rosy clouds. They didn't see anyone. They didn't even see a ghost. Rong. Lord Rong. Some of the heroes let out a sorrowful cry, and some evil and ominous premonition surged in their hearts. And the 5 slaves of Xiaofan were also communicating with each other through spiritual waves. It seems that Master has won a great victory. Let's not talk about Rong for the time being. Now, all the great elders and elders should have been killed by Master. Could it be? Could it be that the so-called invincible Rong also died in the hands of Master? Very likely. There is only one exit left, but we can all clearly feel Master's breath of life. Master left an imprint in our souls. If Master meets with an accident, this brand will disappear. But at this moment, the brand that Master planted in our souls is still unforgettable and has not dissipated at all. It can be seen that Master is definitely still alive. If Master is still alive, it is very likely that Rong has already been killed by Master. Master is too strong. I don't know what method he used to kill the insufferably arrogant Rong, and the camp of the heroes of Xiaofan's plain, the hallucinatory demon palace is gone. Where is junior brother Xiaofan? Why don't I see junior brother Xiaofan coming out? Xiao Mingchu focused his eyes and looked over. For a moment, he did not find a figure coming out of the hallucinatory demon palace that had disappeared. Xiaofan will be fine. A large group of heroes who had received Xiaofan's kindness all shouted in unison. At this moment, boom! The power of space exploded in the chaotic hallucinatory demon realm. Then, a human figure. It gradually appeared. And it quickly stabilized in the space. Someone was teleported out. Yes. However, only one person was teleported out. Yes, it's one person. Why is there only one person? Many heroes of Rong's plain and Xiaofan's plain shouted at the first moment. Phew, I'm finally out. Xiaofan gradually stabilized his body. Then, he dusted off the dust on his robe and looked up. He saw the people of his plain not far away. Xiaofan saw big senior brother Xiao Mingchu, the ancient giant Luo Tianyu, the tower master, the ancient giant Yan Qi, and the familiar faces that he had rescued from the hallucinatory demon palace. All of a sudden, Xiaofan felt as if he had been in a different world, immediately. Xiaofan controlled his true qi and crossed the void, walking towards the camp of his plane. As he walked, Xiaofan's spiritual wave naturally spread out. Suddenly, Xiaofan's body shook. He only felt that his spiritual wave, in this stable space, could actually cover an area of 1,000,000 miles. Within a range of 1,000,000 miles, nothing could escape the detection of Xiaofan's spiritual wave. After leaving the hallucinatory demon palace, Xiaofan's spiritual wave became extremely sharp, and he could observe everything down to the smallest detail. Moreover, he had a feeling of contentment, unrestrained, and no longer being restrained by anything. It felt very good. After coming out of the hallucinatory demon palace, my spiritual force no longer suffered any interference or pressure. Naturally, I can release it as I wish. Xiaofan was well aware of this. At this moment, in the camp of Xiaofan's plain, many demons, the tower master, and many elders had clearly seen Xiaofan. In an instant, cheers and shouts of joy erupted from the camp. The atmosphere was heated and boiling. Xiaofan. It's Xiaofan. Xiaofan is out. Ha 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 ha. Our benefactor, in the end, managed to escape from the hallucinatory demon palace unscathed. The only remaining exit was obtained by the young demon with the most potential in our plane, Xiaofan. The hallucinatory demon palace has collapsed. In other words, Rong and those tyrannical elders have all died? And over at Rong's side, there was absolute silence. Each and every one of them felt their hair stand on end, and they were as silent as cicadas in winter. They looked at Xiaofan with their mouths agape, and their throats gurgled, but they could not speak. In the next moment, the hallucinatory demon realm that was broken down by the devil palace began to evaporate and disappear completely. Rong. Lord Rong. Lord Rong and the elders and many of our companions still haven't come out. Only a young man came out from that trash plane. The devil palace is gradually disappearing. Lord Rong and the others, they all the demons from Rong's plane were now in a state where they were about to collapse. They had a premonition that something disastrous and terrifying was about to happen. Xiaofan walked to the side of his eldest senior brother, Xiao Mingqiu, and laughed loudly. Eldest senior brother, I'm out too. Ha ha ha. Now we can set off to that space springboard. Ha ha ha. I think we can still make it in time, right? Xiao Mingqiu said in a daze. We can. In the hallucinatory demon palace, 10 days is equivalent to 1 day in the real world. We should hurry to the space springboard now, and then teleport to the genius zone. If the journey is smooth, the genius zone will not open before we arrive. Junior brother Xiaofan, where are Rong and the elders of his plane now? Xiao Mingqiu's voice was trembling when he asked. All of them have fallen. Xiaofan lowered his voice and said. Hearing this, Xiao Mingqiu, Luo Tianyu, and the others almost fainted. At this moment, ha 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 ha. Xiaofan. Suddenly, the pagoda master led a few elders towards Xiaofan. Their faces were full of joy, but deep in their eye sockets, there was a flame of greed flashing. Ha! Xiaofan was stunned. Soon, the pagoda master and the elders surrounded Xiaofan. Xiaofan. You're indeed a young hero. You've made a great contribution for this plane. I know very well that if it wasn't for you, many of our demons would have been trapped in the hallucinatory demon palace. Ha ha ha, if it wasn't for you holding back Rong and the elders of his plane, once they were teleported out, a one-sided battle would have broken out. We would never be able to defeat the experts of Rong's plane. Ha ha ha. Xiaofan, this is a first-class contribution. Reward according to your contribution. Don't worry, I will definitely reward you according to your contribution. When this matter in the genius zone is over and we return to this plane, I will definitely reward you greatly. I will make you bring honor to your ancestors. Moreover, the entire Pure Rain sect will also rise to the heavens. Ha ha ha. Oh. I'm just doing my best. Xiaofan casually said. He felt that every move of the pagoda master seemed to have a purpose. It seemed like he was here to reward Xiaofan's merit, but in fact, it was not that simple. After a pause, the pagoda master said to Xiaofan in a soft voice. Xiaofan, hand over your immortal artifact. Give it to this plane. Bring benefit to this plane. Chapter 454. Celestial Weapon? Xiaofan was dumbfounded by the pagoda master's words. With a blank expression, he blurted out the question. What celestial weapon? The moment these words left his mouth, one of the 12 elders surrounding Xiaofan, other than the pagoda master, revealed a disdainful and mocking smile on his face as he shouted. All right, Xiaofan, no one here is an outsider, so there's no need to hide anything. Whatever grudges you had in the past, you should let go of them now. When we go out, the demon heroes of our plane, from top to bottom, should unite as one. We should work together as one. Only then will we be able to overcome the difficulties and cross the river together. Xiaofan, you definitely have an immortal artifact. We are all smart people. Don't pretend to be ignorant. Oh. Xiaofan was not a stupid person. When he heard the elder's words, he naturally knew what was going on. All right. This bunch of trash actually thinks I have a celestial weapon so I can sweep through the illusory devil palace. Now they're shameless enough to ask for a celestial weapon from me. They're too shameless. Xiaofan's expression immediately turned cold. Without batting an eyelid, he looked at the pagoda master and the elders. The elder began to speak non-stop. Xiaofan, we all know your cultivation level. We also have a rough idea of your demonic arts and battle prowess. Logically, it's impossible for you to do as you please in the illusory devil palace, kill the people from the Rong realm, break the rules of the illusory devil palace, and destroy the exit. I'll be frank. I'm sure you have a celestial weapon. Moreover, it's very likely to be a supreme-grade celestial weapon that can increase one's spiritual energy. What do you think? I'm right, right? Take it out and contribute it to the realm. What do you think? Another elder joined in and said with a fake smile, that's right. Xiaofan, take out the celestial weapon. Xiaofan, listen to me. I've always been a person of reason and not of kinship. I'm very fair. That's right, Xiaofan, you relied on this immortal artifact to turn the tide and force the Rong plane to retreat again and again. Even the Rong plane itself was probably trapped in the demon palace and died. It was you, Xiaofan, who created such a great achievement. Your hard work and contributions are great, no one can go and erase you. However, a celestial weapon. It was too heaven-defying. Especially in the legends. An immortal artifact that focused on mental power. Its value was immeasurable. With this celestial artifact, our entire plane will transform. From being weak, they had become rich and powerful. However, Xiaofan. To be fair and impartial, things like immortal artifacts are not things that you can control. After all, your cultivation realm is still too low. Opening aperture realm. Your foundation is still lacking. You can't control it. Moreover, an innocent man will get into trouble because of his wealth. Once the secret that you have an immortal artifact in your hands is exposed, you will not be able to escape. I'm afraid you'll be harmed instead. Even your family and sect will be implicated. This kind of immortal artifact can only fall into the hands of our elders' council. Only when it fell into the hands of the pagoda master could it be considered as having an owner. Xiaofan, you're still young. You don't have the tolerance and virtue to control an immortal artifact. Moreover, you're far from being able to unleash the might of an immortal artifact. Xiaofan, think about it. With your cultivation realm and the immortal artifact in your hand, you're already able to defeat Rong and the many elders under him. So, what if you hand this immortal artifact to the pagoda master? With his immortal eye realm and supreme heaven eye realm, what will happen? Another elder said with a trembling voice. His eyes were filled with fanaticism. With the immortal artifact in his hand, the pagoda master will definitely be invincible. He'll conquer countless planes and achieve 1,000 years of hegemony. The 12 elders surrounded Xiaofan and started barking at him. Because the temptation of an immortal artifact was too great. Mortals simply couldn't resist this kind of temptation. It was not an exaggeration to say that the value of an immortal artifact was more valuable than the value of a plane or even several planes combined. Xiaofan, the ancient giant Yan Qi, also walked over from afar. The muscles at the corner of his eyes twitched slightly. Xiaofan, previously in the Devil Palace, it's all thanks to you that I was able to escape unscathed. I, Yan Qi, am very grateful to you for this. When we return to the plane, I will definitely repay you. However, the matter of an immortal artifact is not a small matter. It must not be handled carelessly. It concerns the future prosperity of our plane. With this immortal artifact, our competitiveness in the genius zone will definitely increase. Xiaofan, take it out. Give it out. You were born in this plane and grew up in this plane. Your rise today is partly due to your own talent and partly due to the plane's nurturing. Now that you've grown up, you should also nurture the plane. Give the immortal artifact to the pagoda master. Your cultivation realm is too low. It's a waste for the immortal artifact to be in your hands. Moreover, you have many techniques from the demon race. Demons and immortals are like dragons and tigers. The immortal artifact is not beautiful in your hands. Xiaofan, take out the immortal artifact. Xiaofan, take out the immortal artifact. Xiaofan, take out the immortal artifact. For a moment, the 12 elders and the ancient giant Yan Qi surrounded Xiaofan and tried to persuade him. All of them sounded as if they were trying to reason with Xiaofan, but in reality, there was a hint of threat in their words. The pagoda master remained silent and looked at Xiaofan with a playful expression. Xiao Mingchu, Luo Tianyu, and the others were pushed to the periphery. For a moment, they did not know what was going on. The demons of the Rong Plain were petrified. They looked at the hallucinatory demonic palace and the beautiful hallucinatory demonic realm that was gradually dissipating like fireworks. Rong. Lord Rong. All. Elders, the demons of the Rong Plain seemed to be possessed. They murmured in a daze, Rong. Lord Rong. All the elders, will definitely come out. They all have half-immortal bodies. They are invincible in the secular world. It's impossible for them to be trapped in the Devil Palace. At this moment, Xiaofan was completely enraged. Xiaofan was besieged by the Tower Master and a group of elders, all of whom were asking for the so-called immortal treasure. This caused his blood to boil, and his face to flush with excitement. This was simply too much. If it was not for Xiaofan, most of the demons of this plane, including Yan Qi, would have died in the hallucinatory demonic palace. It was impossible for them to survive. Now, Xiaofan had saved the entire plane with his own strength. After coming out, not only did he not treat them with sincerity, but he even schemed against each other and wanted a foot when given an inch. Even a clay figurine would have some anger. Let alone Xiaofan, who had always been unrestrained. Right now, Xiaofan was completely enraged. His heart was filled with rage, and his killing intent was wild and violent. Ha 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 ha. Suddenly, Xiaofan laughed maniacally out of anger. Celestial artifact? Celestial artifact? How ridiculous. Let's not talk about whether I, Xiaofan, have a celestial artifact or not. Even if I do, what right do you have to demand it from me? Idiot. They actually created such a big scene to coerce and bribe me. You really repay kindness with evil. Ask yourselves, if it was not for me, Xiaofan, taking responsibility, would all of you still be alive? You would have been killed by Rong. Now you dare to show off in front of me. Money moves people's hearts. Even antiques like you who have cultivated for tens of thousands of years cannot avoid greed. However, you are too stupid. Celestial artifacts are heaven-defying, and the value of any celestial artifact is unimaginable. It is even related to the important matter of becoming an immortal. Since that is the case, why should I, Xiaofan, hand over the celestial artifact to you for nothing? Do you really think that I, Xiaofan, am 3 years old? All of you, get lost. Get lost far away. Are all of your heads clamped by a door? Get lost. Xiaofan actually began to curse in public. This was intolerable. The scolding caused the elders to be dumbfounded. They had been in high positions in this plane for a long time, and they had never been scolded by the demons of this plane. Even the pagoda master rarely spoke ill of them. This was the first time they were scolded by a young boy in front of them. Get lost. Otherwise, don't blame me for being merciless. Xiaofan scolded coldly, then narrowed his eyes and looked at Yan Qi. Yan Qi, you get lost too. I saved your dog life, and you still dare to be so noisy in front of me? Get lost. Otherwise, you won't even know how you died. Xiaohan's words seemed to have frozen the entire place. The originally blue and calm space suddenly felt a chill run down the spines of the elders, Yan Qi, and the rest. A murderous aura lingered around each of them. Finally, an elder with bulging veins on his face roared with a murderous aura and an ominous glint in his eyes. How dare you? Xiaofan. How dare you? You evil creature. All along, you have been ignorant and incompetent. You secretly colluded with the demons and learned their skills. Let's not talk about that. Last time at the Wuxia Tower, you fought and killed countless innocent demons. You have no respect for the law. Just this crime alone is enough to exterminate your entire clan. However, the heavens have the virtue of cherishing life. You should have exterminated your entire clan with no luck. However, the elders and the pagoda master were magnanimous and pardoned you. They even gave you the right to go to the genius zone. Not only did you not feel grateful and contribute to the plane, but you were also overbearing. Instead, you were aggressive. You have a celestial artifact. Hand it over now because you are a sinner. Only by handing over the celestial artifact can you make up for your sins. I will kill you all. Finally, Xiaofan's murderous intent exploded without restraint. His blood was boiling, and his murderous intent could not be suppressed. Ha ha ha. Xiaofan, we know a thing or two about that celestial artifact of yours. Your cultivation realm is too low. Therefore, you can only use the celestial artifact and use the hallucinatory demonic realm to make people lose their minds and kill themselves. However, this huge space is very calm, and there is no sign of the hallucinatory demonic realm. You even said that you would kill us? What an idiot. After being humiliated by Xiaofan, Yan Qi's eyes turned ferocious. He completely forgot about Xiaofan's kindness and roared, "The celestial artifact is invincible, but it is restricted in your hands. Without the hallucinatory demonic realm, you can't use the celestial artifact at all. You still want to kill us? Let's see how you are going to kill us." Chapter 455. Xiaofan did not expect that after he left the hallucinatory demon palace, before he had the chance to clash with the remnants of the Rhone plane, he would fall out with the higher-ups of his plane. However, Xiaofan did not plan to feign civility. After the training in the hallucinatory demon palace, Xiaofan's heart was no longer the same as before. It was extremely tenacious. Moreover, he had cultivated the extinguishing sky and earth mental technique to the 19th set of mental finger techniques. His saber intent had soared, and the power of his natal saber chi could cut through ghosts and gods and destroy all living things. He also had a supreme demonic technique. All these made Xiaofan fearless. He was confident that he could deal with the elders and even the pagoda master. Moreover, Xiaofan knew that the pagoda master and the elders were all clones. Their real bodies were still suppressed in the Wuxia pagoda. In terms of true battle power, in a stable space, without the hallucinatory demonic realm to use, Xiaofan believed that he was not a match for the tower master at his peak. He was also not a match for these elders. However, this was referring to their true bodies. Xiaofan still had some confidence in dealing with their clones. In his sea of consciousness, the natal saber chi in the liquid mind power planet had recovered by 40%. Yan Qi, you're just a level 9 true chi cultivator. How dare you jump out here? You're courting death. Do you know? Since you keep saying that you want me to kill you, then come out and face me. See if I dare to kill you or not. I don't care if I can kill you or not. Xiaofan no longer had any apprehensions. The evil heroes around him, such as Xiao Mingchu and Luo Tianyu, did not know what was going on. They wanted to intervene but did not know what to do. Humph. Yan Qi was furious. He was about to step out and fight Xiaofan. At this moment, shut up. The pagoda leader's voice could finally be heard as he took a step forward. His face was filled with a dignified and righteous aura. All of you, be polite to Xiaofan. Yan Qi, you said that if it wasn't for Xiaofan, you would have died in the hallucinatory demon palace. How dare you disrespect Xiaofan? You're too presumptuous. Yes, the pagoda master is right, Yan Qi said. And you guys? The pagoda master glanced at the 12 elders. Xiaofan's contributions to this realm are greater than his mistakes. I have already forgiven him for his mistakes in front of the demon hero pagoda. Now, you are bringing up the past again. How absurd. Listen up, from now on, if anyone dares to criticize or offend Xiaofan, this seat will not forgive them. That's right, the celestial artifact belonged to Xiaofan. No one had the right to covet or take it away from him. An immortal artifact is so precious. There's no reason for Xiaofan to give it up for nothing. Ta Ming's impassioned speech rendered the 12 elders speechless. Xiaofan, don't be angry. The immortal artifact is yours. There is no doubt about that. With that, the pagoda master looked at Xiaofan with a pleasant expression. As for Xiaofan, he didn't think much of it. TSK, the 12 elders played the bad cop, and the pagoda master came out to play the bad cop. Ha ha ha. What a joke. However, do you think I, Xiaofan, am someone you can fool? Xiaofan, what do you think about this? We are currently in the vast universe. The journey to the genius zone is very difficult and full of thorns. It's hard to predict whether we will be lucky or not when we reach the genius zone. The pagoda master looked at Xiaofan sincerely. Xiaofan, lend me the celestial artifact temporarily. The power of this celestial artifact in my hands will definitely be extraordinary. Xiaofan, don't worry. I'm only borrowing it temporarily. I'll definitely return it to you. How about this, Xiaofan? When your true qi cultivation base improves again so that you can control this celestial artifact perfectly, I'll return it to you. What do you think? Xiaofan was completely speechless after hearing the pagoda master's words. Borrow? He's trying to find a way to ask for it. Shameless beyond belief. Shameless beyond belief. In a split second, Xiaofan's mind was filled with many thoughts. It seems like these elders and the pagoda master have made up their minds to covet the so-called celestial artifact in my possession. Threats, promises, and all kinds of methods are endless. If I refuse them, I'll be entangled with them along the way. Now that I'm going to the genius zone, I can't possibly kill all of them and go there alone, can I? If that's the case, I might not even be able to get a place to enter the genius zone. That surname Suo will use a thunderous method to kill one of them in front of everyone to make an example out of them. Establishing prestige. A thought emerged in his mind. Kill to establish prestige. However, at this moment, that young man. Suddenly, hundreds of demons from the Rhone plain shouted at Xiaofan at the same time. Then, they swarmed towards him like a swarm of bees. How dare you! Some of the demons from Xiaofan's plane immediately got into formation and confronted them. Are you going to humiliate and bully us? Humph. Xiao Mingchu and Luo Tianyu took a step forward together. Pagoda Master? The 12 elders looked displeased. However, they did not act rashly. Then, they looked at the Pagoda Master with inquiring eyes. Pagoda Master, none of the elders from the Rhone plain are left. They are just a group of demons. There are not many at the 9th level of true qi. Most of them are at the 8th level of true qi. If they truly dare to reach for a yard after taking an inch, we'll seize this opportunity to massacre them too. Several elders said, becoming restless. That's right. Without the Rhone plain and dozens of elders, there were less than 200 demons. With the Pagoda Master here, Xiaofan's plane could still control the situation. Thus, these elders were fearless. Of course, if the other party had Rhone plain, these elders could only tuck their tails between their legs. However, the Pagoda Master quickly glanced at Xiaofan and immediately said in a low voice. Don't act rashly. Let's see what they want. Soon, the survivors of the Rhone plain, nearly 200 Wuxia, flew over and formed a camp. One of the leaders, who was at the 9th level of true qi, pointed at Xiaofan. Young man, come out. We have something to ask you. Oh? Xiaofan's expression changed. He could not help but lick his lips. I just wanted to kill someone to establish my dominance. I didn't expect that someone would come to me eagerly. It's really a pillow when I'm sleepy. As his thoughts flashed, Xiaofan did not say anything. Instead, he directly strode over with arrogance. Junior brother Xiaofan. Xiao Mingchu wanted to follow closely behind. The dozens of demons who had received Xiaohan's kindness also wanted to walk out with Xiaohan. Unexpectedly, Xiaohan waved his hand, indicating for everyone to not move. For some unknown reason, after coming out of the hallucinatory demon palace, Xiaohan's every move was deeply dignified. Even his every expression seemed to have formed a climate. With such a wave of his hand, Xiao Mingchu and the others immediately stood still. Xiaohan leisurely walked towards the remaining demons from the Rong plain and smiled faintly. "What? You have something to ask me? Young man. Where's our Lord Rong? Where's our elders? Where are our fiendish hero companions?" Quite a few of the 9th level True Qi fiendish heroes shouted in unison. Their tone was filled with fear, uneasiness, fear, shock, and an inexplicable anger. They finally could not hold it in any more. After waiting for a long time, there was no news from their side. In the end, they did not wait for Rong and the elders to come out. Instead, they waited for the entire hallucinatory demon palace to disappear bit by bit. This caused them to directly target the last person to come out of the hallucinatory demon palace, Xiaohan. They directly came up to interrogate. Moreover, boom, nearly 200 demons moved in unison. They spread out and surrounded Xiaohan. Seeing this situation, Xiao Mingchu and the other demons were all furious and wanted to rush up. Suddenly, the Tower Master waved his right hand. An invisible force field shook, causing the demons who were about to rush up to be frozen, unable to move an inch. "Don't act rashly. Don't kill. This time, the celestial world has a decree. Before entering the genius zone, all ordinary planes are not allowed to kill each other. Everyone should value peace," the Tower Master said with a faint smile. Then, he looked at Xiaohan with a thought-provoking gaze. A wisp of spiritual sound was transmitted into Xiaohan's sea of consciousness without a sound. "Xiaohan, now that Rong is dead, these people are without a leader. You are the last person to come out of the hallucinatory demon palace, so you are the most suspicious. They have lost their rationality and will definitely torture you. Although you have a celestial artifact, there is no hallucinatory demon realm for you to use. The demons surrounding you are at the 8th level True Qi, and some are even at the 9th level True Qi. Some of them have very strong foundations, and their combat power is several times more terrifying than Yan Qi's. I'm afraid you won't be able to handle them. How about it? Give in. As long as you agree to lend me the celestial artifact, I will immediately help you eliminate these people." Xiaohan did not even look at the Tower Master. He lazily narrowed his eyes and glanced around at the chivalrous men surrounding him. His lips curled into an arrogant and disdainful smile. "You guys are, really idiots. How dare you ask such an idiotic question? If you want to escape from this hallucinatory demon palace, you can only go through the internal exit. Now, the exit has completely disappeared, and the hallucinatory demon palace has collapsed. Your Lord Rong, your elders, and your companions, are all dead. This is obvious, and you still want to ask me? Idiots. Roar." As soon as they heard Xiaohan's words, the group of demons burst into howls, as if they were mourning for their parents. All of them were scared out of their wits, and their mournful cries were earth-shattering. "That's impossible. How could Lord Rong die? Lord Rong is the spiritual leader of our plane. He is an immortal who is destined to become an immortal in the future. How could he die? Without Master Rong, this plane of ours is finished. It's all over. Without Lord Rong and the elders, we will be invaded by the demon race sooner or later. Our entire plane is in danger." The crowd was howling. The next moment, "Little bastard. How did you manage to find the last exit? Why is our great and immortal Lord Rong buried in that damned hallucinatory demon palace? Little bastard. You deserve to die. Why is it that a trashy acupoint expansion realm like you, a half-cripple, can come out of the hallucinatory demon realm alive and well, while our Supreme Lord Rong met with misfortune. The heavens are unfair. Little bastard, you deserve to die. These demons did not suspect that Xiaofan was the culprit behind the massacre of Lord Rong and the elders. However, when they lost control of their emotions, they naturally had to find someone to vent their anger on. Xiaofan had become their target. Close to 200 demons stared at Xiaofan with blood-red eyes. Their killing intent was extremely violent. This Xiaofan, under normal circumstances, he would never be a match for these crazy fellows. Yan Qi revealed an expression of schadenfreude. The 12 elders also nodded and smiled. Right now, he must beg for the pagoda master's help. Otherwise, he will be killed instantly and dismembered. Xiaofan, hurry up and beg me. Otherwise, you might be dismembered. The pagoda master smiled and sent a telepathic message. It seemed that he had Xiaofan in his grasp. However, suddenly, Xiaofan laughed bitterly and said indifferently. All of you are noisy in front of me. Do you know that you are courting death? Ha 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 ha. I have been provoked and I have nowhere to vent my anger. Since all of you are here to court death, I will fulfill your wish. Suddenly, the saber aura around Xiaofan's body rose. The next moment, boom, a natal saber chi that looked like an evil dragon soared into the sky from Xiaofan's sea of consciousness. The saber light was brilliant and unparalleled. All of a sudden, the natal saber chi exploded, split, and turned into a light screen that looked like a fishing net. It shone brilliantly and directly swept in all directions. Pooh! 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 Other than 5 slaves, the 200 demons that surrounded Xiaofan were all cut into pieces by the saber net. Powder. Densely packed minced meat splattered everywhere. The smell of blood covered the sky. There were tens of millions of pieces of corpses and meat. I said that you are courting death. You are courting death. Xiaofan said lightly. For a moment, the scene was silent. To be continued. Chapter 456. Xiaofan activated the Great Success Realm Natal Saber Chi and added it with his supreme mental power. With one slash, all the remaining evil heroes on the Rong Plain, except for his 5 slaves, were killed. They were cut into pieces by the saber chi. Moreover, Xiaofan felt that killing outside was especially satisfying, unlike in the hallucinatory demon palace, which was full of restrictions. He could do as he pleased. Sweep away everything. However, this slash also consumed 30% of the natal saber chi, leaving only 10% of the natal saber chi in Xiaofan's sea of consciousness. Of course, this slash also played the role of killing people to establish his prestige. Now, the many elders who were clamoring at the beginning, as well as the pagoda master and Yan Qi, all had their throats choked. They breathed rapidly and did not say a word, staring at Xiaofan with bulging eyes. Xiaofan's 5 slaves knew what was good for them and immediately knelt on the ground. They kept quiet out of fear and said in fear. Spare us. Please spare us. We are willing to serve you as our master for the rest of our lives. Xiaofan waved his hand. Get up. The master and the servants also put on a little act. The 5 slaves stood up and obediently stood behind Xiaofan with their hands down. Xiaofan turned around and used his indifferent eyes to sweep over the pagoda master and the others. The corner of his mouth pulled into a provocative and arrogant smile. Pagoda master, are you only satisfied when the fish dies and the net splits? Ugh, this. Xiaofan, this. At this moment, the pagoda master was even a little incoherent. One slash to kill 100 people, and kill many people at the 9th level of true chi, directly killing them. This is the Great Success Realm Saber intent, and your mental power is ridiculously strong. Xiaofan, you have actually grown to this level. This. The 12 elders also looked at Xiaofan bitterly. They did not expect Xiaofan to be so strong. His methods were so violent, in an instant, he killed the remaining evil heroes on the Rhone plain. They were all killed. Too powerful, this great success realm saber intent is almost perfect. It's almost perfect. One of the elders sighed in admiration. Xiaofan. I also cultivate the Tao of Saber. However, your saber intent can directly suppress my saber intent. I'm not your match. Sigh. The younger generation will surpass us in time. The younger generation will surpass us in time. The elder's face showed a desolate expression. He shook his hand. I won't mention the matter of the immortal artifact. I won't mention it again. These elders all looked at Xiaofan in horror. In the depths of the eye sockets of a few of the elders, a ruthless expression gradually appeared on his face as he looked at Xiaofan with a murderous look. Tower Master, Xiaofan's lifeblood saber energy is indeed powerful. It was grand and majestic, sweeping through the world. However, although his life saber chi was invincible, it was not inexhaustible. On the contrary, the lifeblood saber energy is stored in the soul sea of the saber user. Every time it is killed, it will consume a lot of energy. This Xiaofan killed 100 lives with one slash just now. I think he must have consumed a lot of energy. Why don't we take this opportunity to suppress him? We have completely fallen out with Xiaofan. With Xiaofan's temperament, it will be very difficult for him to let us go in the future. Moreover, the speed of his growth is too heaven-defying. We are all old antiques who have seen countless people. In our lifetime, we have also witnessed the rise of countless geniuses. But now, looking at the history of the entire plane, all the so-called outstanding geniuses, the so-called heaven-bestowed geniuses, in front of Xiaofan, are all just a joke. Xiaofan was the true genius who had surpassed all of us since ancient times. Not only does his talent surpass our plane, even if he goes to other planes, he will also be a monstrous existence. His combat strength is changing every day. This time, Xiaofan almost destroyed the entire plane with his own strength. Tower Master, we can't control this kid. I suggest that we kill him while he is still young and not completely powerful. Moreover, he has consumed a lot of his lifeblood saber energy. Let's kill him. The Tower Master stared at Xiaofan. A strange light flashed in his eyes as he fell into deep thought. Xiaofan understood the meaning of this. His expression did not change as he looked at the Tower Master with a faint smile. Tower Master, do you want to use force? Ha ha ha. Why don't you try? Xiao xiao xiao, wisps of lifeblood saber energy rose from the top of Xiaofan's head, creating hair-like cracks in the space. At the same time, Xiaofan glanced at the group of elders with murderous eyes. In his eyes, the saber light and the sword shadow made the elders' eyes hurt. Their skin turned cold as if they were being cut by the sharp edge of a saber. It was so creepy that they lowered their heads and felt a chill in the depths of their hearts. Soon, a few other elders also sent a soul message to the Tower Master. Tower Master. We must not make things difficult for Xiaofan anymore. Tower Master, in the hallucinatory Devil Palace, many of the evil heroes have received favors from Xiaofan. If we forcefully suppress Xiaofan, it will definitely arouse public anger. Moreover, Xiaofan's methods are too fierce and domineering. He can already kill a 9th-level true Qi expert. With such a demonic talent, if he enters the genius zone, he will definitely fight for immortal treasures for the plane. Right now, the most important thing is to win over Xiaofan, not to suppress him. Tower Master, please reconsider. Hearing this, the Tower Master glanced at the evil heroes of his plane and then looked at Xiaofan again. Then, he laughed and said, "Good. Xiaofan, you have risen. You have completely risen. You will become a great force of our plane. Your future is limitless. Now that you have the ability to control and protect that immortal treasure, I will not ask for it. You can keep the immortal treasure for yourself." "Good, Xiaofan, you are very good. Ha ha ha. Well said. Xiaofan laughed coldly. In his heart, he felt a little more relaxed. Right now, Xiaohan's focus was on the genius zone. He did not want to bother with the Tower Master and the other bastards. His first task was to rush to the genius zone and enter the genius zone to search for immortal treasures. Therefore, even though they were in the same bed, Xiaofan could only pretend to be courteous for the time being. Of course, the premise was that the Tower Master and the others did not go too far. If they took an inch and wanted a foot, Xiaofan could only draw his sword against them. Good, let's continue. This Tower Master was unusually thick-skinned. Now, he acted as if nothing had happened and was amiable to Xiaofan. Xiaofan, let's go. We still need about 150 days to reach the space springboard. After passing through the hallucinatory Devil Palace, we should be able to deal with the dangers along the way. Let's go, whoosh whoosh whoosh. The Tower Master led the way and flew in the air. The 12 elders followed closely behind. The evil heroes. All of them followed the Tower Master and flew. The large group of people set off again. Their goal was the space springboard that could transport them to the genius zone. Xiaohan still flew side by side with his eldest senior brother, Xiao Mingqiu, calmly. The 5 devil hero slaves hung far behind in a humble manner. Damn it! At this moment, Xiao Mingqiu was also indignant. His eyes were filled with anger. Junior brother Xiaohan. The pagoda master and the elders had gone too far. You have made great contributions to the plane, but they are suppressing and bullying you like this. It's really despicable. Heh, Xiaohan smiled indifferently. It's okay. Eldest senior brother, seriously speaking, the weak are prey to the strong in this world. However, in the face of benefits, the Tower Master and the others just did not hide it. Eldest senior brother, don't be angry. I just want to enter the genius zone and look for immortal opportunities. As long as they don't go too far, I can bear it. The big picture is the most important. Yes. Xiao Mingqiu took a deep look at Xiaohan before repeatedly nodding his head. Junior brother Xiaohan, your current temperament and spirit are like 2 different people. You're like a different person now. You have a supreme state of mind that is neither sad nor happy. If the sect master knew about your current situation, he would be very pleased. Junior brother Xiaohan, pretend to be polite to those bastards for now. However, if you're in the genius zone, remember to hold back. Otherwise, the Tower Master and the others will kill you after you've outlived your usefulness. I know, Xiaohan said with a smile. Suddenly, Xiaohan. Yan Qi actually dilly-dallied and flew to Xiaohan's side. His face was filled with grievance and fear. His eyes were filled with regret. Xiaohan, just my quarrel with you was. I was impulsive. I hope you don't mind. I'm here to apologize to you. Yan Qi was indeed regretful. Initially, he had thought Xiaohan's battle prowess was all due to the celestial weapon and the hallucinatory devil stage. He did not expect Xiaohan's natal saber qi to be so tyrannical and invincible. Earlier, when Xiaohan killed 100 people with a single slash, he had also killed many 9th-level True Energy Realm martial artists from the Rong realm. It could be said that any of the 9th-level True Energy Realm martial artists who died under that slash were stronger than Yan Qi. In that case, it would be as easy as blowing off dust for Xiaohan to kill Yan Qi. Like picking up grass. Therefore, Yan Qi could only suffer in silence. His heart was filled with regret. He blamed himself for contradicting Xiaohan just now. Get lost, Xiaohan did not even look at Yan Qi. Brother Xiaohan, you must forgive me. Yan Qi was filled with grief. Brother Xiaohan, it was indeed an unintentional mistake. Xiaofan's eyes focused on Yan Qi. You're a despicable person who goes back on his word. You don't even have a backbone. Get lost now, or I'll kill you with one slash. Get lost. Xiao Mingchu scolded while gnashing his teeth. To Xiao Mingchu, scolding a powerhouse was a pleasant thing to do. Advance. The large group of people advanced toward the space springboard. They were also very careful along the way. It was a 150-day journey, and no one could predict if there would be any dangers along the way. However, just as the pagoda master had said, after passing through the hallucinatory demon palace, the journey was actually quite easy. Occasionally, there would be some hallucinatory demon realms appearing in the space. The density of the realms wasn't too high, and it wouldn't cause them to experience hallucinations or hallucinations that would cause them to fall into a trance. Everyone could handle it. Even if they encountered a slightly larger hallucinatory demonic realm, they would be able to avoid it. 120 days had passed. It was a smooth journey. 0 casualties. Ha ha ha. We'll reach the space springboard in 30 days. After that, we'll be teleported to the Genius Zone. The Genius Zone hasn't opened yet. There's still time, ha ha ha, there's still time. The pagoda master burst into laughter. The 120-day journey was extremely smooth. This also made many of the devil warriors and elders calm down. They were not as nervous and fearful as when they first set off. 140th day. Eldest senior brother, there are still 10 days left. Xiaofan smiled and chatted with Xiao Mingchu. The Genius Zone is getting closer and closer to us. Xiao Mingchu was also excited. I wonder what the situation in the Genius Zone is like. There are so many experts from different planes heading to the Genius Zone this time. I'm very nervous. Especially after experiencing the disturbance from Rong's group of strong disciples, I feel even more helpless. Our plane is really too weak. That's right, junior brother Xiaofan, don't let your guard down too much, in case you encounter any danger during the last 10 days of the journey. It's fine. Xiaofan's spiritual force spread out and radiated millions of miles of area, monitoring at all times. Eldest senior brother, this large area is close to 10 million miles. It's very safe. Now, the natal saber chi in Xiaofan's sea of consciousness had also recovered to its original state. This gave Xiaofan more confidence to face all kinds of dangers calmly. 145th day. Suddenly, Xiaofan's expression froze. Junior brother Xiaofan, what's wrong? Xiao Mingchu hurriedly asked. I discovered a large number of humans coming from all directions. They're flying in the same direction as us. My spiritual force sensed countless experts. 8th stage True Qi, 9th stage True Qi, and 10th stage True Qi Immortal I realm. Xiaofan's face was cold. Eldest senior brother, we've encountered the devil warriors from other planes. However, it's not just one wave. There are at least 10 waves of people from different planes. Chapter 457. Xiaofan and the others were still 5 days away from the space springboard they had chosen in advance. Of course, this space springboard was definitely not only chosen by Xiaofan's plane. There were bound to be a large number of planes that chose this space springboard. Therefore, now that Xiaofan's mental fluctuations had spread out, it was not surprising at all that he had discovered at least a dozen groups of people from different planes. What? More than a dozen waves of powerful people from different planes? Hearing this, Xiao Mingchu was slightly stunned, and a look of horror immediately appeared in the depths of his eyes. Luo Tianyu, who was standing next to Xiao Mingchu, was also trembling. That's right. They were almost annihilated by Rongyu, which made the fiendish heroes of Xiaofan's dimension feel like they had been bitten by a snake. Every one of them became frightened. When they heard that there were people from other dimensions approaching, they were instinctively frightened. Xiaofan did not take it seriously. Instead, he smiled and comforted them. Eldest senior brother, Brother Luo, don't be nervous. There are many planes going to the Genius Zone, and we will meet people from other planes sooner or later. Not every plane's people are as cruel and sinister as Na Rong. After a pause, Xiaofan's spirit wave spread out like an octopus and said, "They are approaching us. East, northwest, south, southeast. The evil heroes from those planes will find us within an hour." Eldest senior brother, Brother Luo, if there is any sudden change and we have a dispute with the evil heroes from other planes, I will remember to take you into the demon compound of despair. Xiaofan said with a smile. I'm going to encounter the endless geniuses from other planes. I don't know why. I actually have a little bit of expectation and excitement now. Inexplicably, Xiaofan's blood was slightly boiling. The liquid spiritual power planet in his sea of consciousness, as well as the great accomplishment natal saber chi, all transmitted obscure fluctuations. Compared to when he had just set off, Xiaofan's current state of mind. He was more stable and more confident. Every cell in his body was filled with the desire to explore the unknown. Every cell in his body was filled with indomitable courage. At this time, the Pagoda Master and the 12 Elders. Their spiritual power was far less than Xiaofan's, so they had not found anything unusual for the time being. Xiaofan was too lazy to inform the Pagoda Master and the others. An hour later, alert. Suddenly, the Tower Master's figure stopped, and he let out a panicked scream. Everyone, pay attention. Be on alert. More than 10 groups of heroes from other planes are rushing towards us. What? More than 10 batches of heroes from other planes? The elders also lost their composure. Their cries rang out one after another. Each and every one of them was usually swaggering around arrogantly. But now, he was also exhausted and listless. What should we do? Pagoda Master, what do we do now? All right. Calm down. The Pagoda Master's face was also gloomy. This is the only way to get to the space springboard. There will definitely be many demons passing through this path. They might not necessarily make things difficult for us. Calm down. Everyone calm down. Later on, when we encounter other demons from other planes, we should all be polite and not take the initiative to provoke trouble. He should be fine. After saying that, the Pagoda Master waved his hand and suppressed the situation. Let's just focus on moving forward, don't make a fuss. Keep going. The army continued to advance. However, there were many demons. They all took the initiative to approach Xiaofan. It seemed like they wanted to seek some protection. It was almost a subconscious action. After the battle in the hallucinatory Devil Palace, these demons had subconsciously regarded Xiaofan as their protector. Half an hour later, at last. Boom boom boom, in the east, there was a tremor. A sound that caused even the starry sky to tremble rang out. A tall and burly man with immortal chi all over his body slowly walked over. There was a faint mark between his eyebrows. He had no one in his eyes, and his aura soared to the sky. He was like an abyss and a mountain, and his every movement was full of the demeanor of an important person. Looking at his spirit and bearing, he was even slightly stronger than that of Na Rong. Ha ha ha. My children, after a long journey and passing through many dangerous places, we are finally on the right track and have arrived here. There are only a few days left before we reach the nearest space springboard. Ha 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 ha. The tall and burly man laughed heartily. His voice rumbled and shook the entire void, causing it to sway and tremble. In the next moment, a dense group of young people and some elders walked out from behind the tall and burly man. These people's bodies were sparkling and the wind was surging. Regardless of whether they were men or women, they were all in high spirits. Their eyes overflowed with unconcealable confidence and ambition. 8th level True Chi, 9th level True Chi, and every one of them had an incomparably strong foundation. The pagoda master's footsteps involuntarily stopped, and he looked to the east with palpitations. His throat was dry as he murmured, "What a powerful plane. Our plane. It's hard to compete with it." In an instant, the pagoda master's gaze swept over the dozens of demons in his plane, and subconsciously felt that they were asking to be humiliated. He had no confidence at all. The 12 elders were also very dispirited. The demons were overshadowed. Even Xiao Mingchu, who was always ambitious and neither servile nor overbearing, shook his head secretly. In the entire plane, only Xiaofan's state of mind was calm and unperturbed. He was neither servile nor overbearing, and his expression was calm. Instead, he looked at the wave of demons with interest, and secretly evaluated them. Those younger ones are those who are below 10,000 years old and have met the requirements to enter the genius zone. Indeed, the demons in our plane can't be compared to them. For example, my eldest senior brother Xiao Mingchu, who is less than 10,000 years old, has cultivated to the 8th level true Qi formation realm. He has been a genius since he was young, but if he is brought to that plane, he will not be able to stand. His strength and talent will definitely be at the bottom. The difference. In other words, after entering the genius zone, I will have to compete with these guys. I really am looking forward to it. Xiaofan couldn't help but touch his nose. Roar! Roar! The roar of giant beasts resounded. In the next moment, from the northwest direction, many wild beasts that looked like giant elephants broke through the void and came over. The domineering and savage aura shook the heavens and the earth. Hundreds of giant elephant savage beasts. They got into formation. The leader was a giant elephant with brightly colored fur. Riding on it was a middle-aged man wrapped in a beast robe. He had a square face. His hair was messy, and as he breathed in and out, immortal qi sprayed out. His entire body was filled with evil qi. He was emitting evil, powerful, violent, sinister, and even murderous aura at all times. The aura of darkness. On the giant elephant savage beast behind him, there were young men and women. All of them were wearing beast robes and had a fierce look in their eyes. They were very fierce. As soon as they appeared, they used provocative gazes to scan the surroundings. When they noticed the camp of Xiaofan's plane, they all burst into laughter. They were pointing fingers. The heroes of Xiaofan's plane were all very ashamed. They were too ashamed to show their faces. They lowered their heads, and their aura was very timid. They had no confidence at all. Soon, in this space, from all directions, the people of the heroes of the plains had arrived. There were too many geniuses. The aura that they emitted overlapped, causing the surrounding space to faintly distort. Including Xiaofan's plane, there were a total of 19 people of the heroes of the plains gathered. The total number of people was tens of thousands. These people were either arrogant and unruly, or cold and gloomy, or murderous and fierce, or lazy and tranquil, or arrogant, so on and so forth. And the heroes of the various planes were now observing and evaluating the strength of the heroes of the other planes. Of course, among these 19 planes, not all were stronger than Xiaofan's plane. There were also some that were on par with Xiaofan's plane. There were even a few planes whose comprehensive strength was slightly inferior to Xiaofan's plane. For example, Xiaofan saw a plane with only 30 to 40 heroes, and most of them were in the 6th stage expanded acupoint realm. In this way, from the pagoda master to the heroes of Xiaofan's plane, they felt a little comforted. At least their plane was not at the bottom, right? Xiaofan did not pay too much attention to the weak planes. Instead, he focused his attention on the powerful planes. Judging from their appearances, Xiaofan discovered that the geniuses from the powerful existential planes all exuded a sense of pride from the inside out. The pride that belonged to the geniuses, and loneliness. And hot-bloodedness. More than 10 planes, nearly 10,000 geniuses. These powerful planes each have a large number of talented people. Who knows how many outstanding people have emerged? Now, the sand is washed away by the waves. Those who are selected to enter the genius zone are definitely not weak. Moreover, the number of the heroes who entered the genius zone is far more than this. These planes that I see now are just one of the many space springboards. There will also be a large number of planes entering other space springboards. It's just the tip of the iceberg. What I see now is really just the tip of the iceberg. After officially entering the genius zone, I will see more and more geniuses. Without a doubt, some of these geniuses have had fortuitous encounters. Just like me, a heavenly opportunity fell upon me. Some are extremely talented. Maybe their acupoints have expanded thousands of times, some have met a good master and have been nurtured since young, some have the heart of a strong person and never admit defeat. Seriously speaking, these guys are all my competitors. Xiaofan licked his lips. The people of the 19 planes gathered together. After a long while, a middle-aged man with the demeanor of an immortal said in a clear voice. We're all heroes of the human race. Although we come from different planes, we're all the same. We're all responsible for killing demons and saving the common people. Alright, there's not much time left before the opening of the genius zone. Let's go to the nearest space springboard first. I also hope that the tower masters will restrain their subordinates and not cause trouble to other planes. Follow the decree of the immortal world. Peace is the most important. Don't fight against each other. Men of this plane, follow me. As soon as he finished speaking, the middle-aged man with the demeanor of an immortal moved and flew forward. His subordinates followed closely behind him. Just like that, a large group of people from different planes flew towards the direction of the space springboard. Let's hurry up as well. The tower master sighed. Eldest senior brother, let's go. Xiaofan also moved forward. I'm afraid we will encounter more planes when we reach the space springboard. It's getting more and more interesting. Chapter 458. Ever since he left his hometown and headed for the genius zone, time flew by, and it had been over 200 days. Xiaofan and the others did not have a smooth journey. On the contrary, they had experienced many obstacles and dangers. When they encountered the wrong plane, they were almost wiped out. With Xiaofan's help, this mediocre plane was able to advance to where it was today. Xiao, the densely packed chivalrous heroes of different camps flew toward the space gangplank. There are less than 5 days left. Xiaofan flew at the back of the group. TSK. Junior brother Xiaofan. There are too many geniuses. My eyes are filled with geniuses. I was really a frog in a well when I was in my own plane. Sigh, there are so many geniuses in so many planes. In comparison, I feel like I'm just a speck of dust. Xiao Mingchu said sadly. Eldest senior brother, don't be disheartened. Do you still remember the chivalry trials? Xiaofan laughed. Chivalry trials? Xiao Mingchu was stunned. Yes. Xiaofan nodded affirmatively. Eldest senior brother, we've all been through the chivalry trials. In fact, to stand out in the chivalry trials, strength is one thing, but luck is more important. When I first participated in the chivalry trials, I was also a rookie. However, in the chivalry trials, I improved a lot, and my mind was sharpened. I'm thinking that the genius zone probably doesn't only value strength, but also luck. Yes. Little brother Xiaofan is right. Luo Tianyu nodded repeatedly. Maybe it's really luck. Brother Xiao, think about it. In terms of strength, Na Rong's plane is many times stronger than ours. However, it still fell at little brother Xiaofan's hands. On the other hand, our plane is advancing triumphantly, heading for the genius zone. This is also a kind of luck. Ha ha ha, of course, this luck is all because of little brother Xiaofan. When we enter the genius zone, I'm afraid we'll still have to rely on little brother Xiaofan. Ha ha ha. With that said, Xiao Mingchu's state of mind became slightly more cheerful. Soon after, Xiao Mingchu smiled in a carefree manner. I was worrying too much. How should he put it? Even if he could witness the elegant demeanor of those extraordinary people from other planes, this trip would not have been in vain. Immortal weapons and immortal treasures, just go with the flow. Heh, junior brother Xiaofan, on the other hand, I'm very optimistic about you. Maybe you can get a share of immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure. Me? Xiaofan was speechless. Ha ha ha, that's right, little brother Xiaofan, you're a heaven-defying person. I'm also optimistic about you. Luo Tianyu also said seriously. No no no. Xiaofan shook his head repeatedly. I'm not belittling myself. I'm really nothing. Thinking about it, there were at least 1,000 springboards that could transport them to immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's lair. Any one of these space springboards could be used by dozens of planes. On average, there are a few hundred people in each plane. How many people would there be when there are thousands of planes with space springboards? Xiaohan's question stunned Xiao Mingchu and Luo Tianyu. At this time, one of the 5 slaves flying respectfully behind Xiaofan said in a well-behaved manner. At least millions of people of the right age will enter the genius zone. Maybe tens of millions of people are possible. Hiss. Xiao Mingchu and the others gasped and felt their scalps go numb. When Xiaofan heard this number, he also stuck out his tongue. Millions? Tens of millions? TSK, it's really unprecedented, it's really spectacular. Forward. The chivalrous men from more than a dozen planes flew to the nearest space gangplank in a hurry. There was no longer any danger that could hinder them along the way. Even the sporadic hallucinatory magic land no longer appeared. It was completely a smooth road for Zhuangkang. After a few moments. Xiaohan's spiritual force radiated outwards, and very quickly, he discovered a floating meteorite in the void. This meteorite was about hundreds of miles long and wide. It was very huge. After scanning with his spiritual power, Xiaofan found that there were densely packed humans on the meteorite. Moreover, there was a strong wave of immortal qi on the meteorite, as well as the wave of teleportation that could reverse the void. Space springboard. Xiaofan blurted out. What? Junior brother Xiaofan, your spiritual power sensed the space springboard? Xiao Mingchu and Luo Tianyu were shocked. Yes, we're almost there. Xiaofan nodded heavily. Get ready. We're almost there. We're finally here. Xiao Mingchu and Luo Tianyu couldn't help but murmur excitedly. After a long journey of hundreds of days, we're finally here. Ha ha ha. It's not a waste. It's 265 days. Xiao Mingchu took a deep breath. There are 23 days left until the genius zone opens. Xiaofan also narrowed his eyes. At the same time, the heroes flying in front of Xiaofan and the others burst into thunderous cheers. The atmosphere became heated. Some of the nosy heroes even whistled. Everyone has already found the location of the space springboard. Xiaofan understood. At this time, the pagoda master said loudly. Everyone pay attention. We're about to reach the space springboard. Be alert. Ah, we're here. We're here. The 12 elders and the heroes cheered as if a heavy burden had been lifted from their shoulders. Half an hour later. Finally, in the direction where everyone was flying, a huge meteorite appeared in front of them. Rather than calling it a meteorite, it would be better to call it a floating continent. Its length and width could be hundreds of miles. The enormous meteorite was fixed in place by a strange force. It didn't move an inch. At this moment, on the meteorite, there were densely packed heroes surging. Moreover, rays of immortal light rose from the dense mist, and colorful light beams shot up to the sky. The characters were like fish and dragons, rising and falling in spirals. Space springboard. Xiaofan's spiritual power swept out and carefully observed. Oh. It turns out that in the middle of this meteorite, there is a huge and great space teleportation array. There is a spatial coordinate recorded on it. As long as enough supreme-grade true Qi spirit stones are placed at the eye of the array as energy, then the heroes standing in the array can be teleported directly to the lair of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao. Well, the structure of this space springboard is also very simple. However, ordinary mortals, even in the realm of half-immortals, can't carve out such a huge space teleportation array. It's most likely a temporary array specially made by the immortals for this exploration of the genius zone. How generous! Now, Xiaofan's heart was also clear at a glance. The chivalrous men from more than a dozen planes arrived and surrounded the meteorite. Land. Land on the space springboard. Step on the space springboard and teleport. Ha ha ha. The genius zone, we're here. Ha 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 ha. My children. It's time to serve the planes. There are 23 days left until the opening of the genius zone. We'll arrive in the blink of an eye. Ha ha ha. Let's go and teleport. The people from the dozen or so planes were all excited and couldn't hold back their excitement, so they went crazy. The Tower Master of Xiaofan's dimension also subconsciously rubbed some of the top-grade storage rings on his fingers as he said in a cold voice. I've prepared enough top-grade spirit stones for the teleportation. Everyone, get ready. At this moment, even I'm excited. Even my soul seems to be trembling. Right at this moment, Xiao, from the space gangplank, a brown-skinned, black-eyed, short-haired old man came flying out. His aura was smooth and flawless, making it impossible to tell his cultivation level. However, there was a faint mark between his eyebrows, which revealed the foundation of his half-immortal body. A godly aura emanated from his body. Xiaofan's spirit looked at the brown-skinned old man and felt that he was like an abyss, with no end in sight. Looking at him for a long time, one's spirit would be lost. A powerful person. Not much weaker than Rong. He must be at the Tower Lord level. Xiaofan quickly assessed. Brown-skinned? Yes, the chivalrous heroes of various dimensions that had appeared now, although they were all humans and their appearances were almost the same, there were still some subtle differences. For example, the humans from Xiaofan's plane were usually yellow-skinned, black-haired, and black-eyed. But now, when Xiaofan saw humans from other planes, there were dark-skinned black people, brown-skinned people, Caucasians, some of them had azure blue eyes. Some had flaxen hair. The brown-skinned old man, suspected to be at the Tower Lord level, let out a friendly laugh. Ha ha ha. Hello everyone. Heroes from the various planes, I'm glad to see you here. Ha ha ha. Although we come from different planes of existence, we have one thing in common. We are all humans. After pausing for a while, the reddish-skinned old man laughed heartily. I've brought my children from my own plane to this space springboard for the teleportation. However, I arrived a day earlier than you. Yes, I and my subordinates arrived yesterday. Now, I'm about to teleport to Zhu Dao Immortal Emperor's lair with my men. There are some things that I'd like to tell you out of enthusiasm. Oh? The monsters surrounding the space gangplank were all stunned. Following that, a few powerful pagoda lords spoke in unison to the reddish-skinned old man. Friend, what do you want to tell us? The brown-skinned old man smiled. It's nothing important. Just listen to it. The exact coordinates of Zhu Dao Immortal Emperor's lair are engraved on the space springboard. Using top-grade True Chi Spirit Stones to teleport, the more people teleported, the more top-grade True Chi Spirit Stones would be consumed. The fewer people teleported, the less top-grade True Chi Spirit Stones would be consumed. The teleportation time was 15 days. Ha ha ha, such a long teleportation is rare. But thinking about it, if one were to rely on their own flying speed, it would take at least 10,000 years to reach Ju Dao Immortal Emperor's lair. Now, it's only 15 days. Ha ha ha. Alright, I suggest that we line up one plane at a time and teleport one by one. Although I reached this space springboard with my men yesterday, it's been a long time. Everyone, don't be anxious. Teleport from plane to plane, there's still time. There's still time. If we all rush up to teleport, it'll be hard to avoid chaos. As soon as he said that, the chivalrous men surrounding the space gangplank all nodded in agreement. Alright, line up for teleportation. The weaker planes will line up at the back, the stronger ones will teleport first. A middle-aged man in iron armor with an aura as deep as the sea let out a rumbling voice. Chapter 459. Ha 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 ha, the reddish-skinned old man laughed amiably and carefreely. It seems that everyone here is a reasonable person. After arriving at the space springboard, we should try not to have any disputes or conflicts, let alone kill each other. After all, there is a formation left by an immortal on this space springboard. The immortal chi here is very dense. If there is any conflict here, it is disrespectful to the immortal. It is blasphemy. Blasphemy to the immortal, that is a grave sin. Moreover, the immortal world has specially sent a message that before entering the genius zone, all planes are not allowed to kill each other. Alright, everyone here is a sensible person, so I won't say much. You can discuss the order of transmission among yourselves. While he was speaking, boom, boom, boom. All of a sudden, the entire space gangplank shot out a series of magnificent and vast light beams. A large portion of the void was dyed in a beautiful, dreamy, and blurry manner. Countless immortal characters and secret talismans surged, evaporated, and soared. The immortal sound burst out. The sound of the great Tao rose and fell, causing people's souls to tremble when they heard it. With the space springboard as the center, the mighty power of space transmission blasted out circles of vortexes. Everyone, I will take my leave first. See you in 15 days. Ha 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 ha. The reddish-skinned old man cupped his hands and quickly returned to the space springboard. Buzz buzz buzz, the people on the space springboard disappeared one by one. They were all teleported away. The entire space gangplank was enshrouded in a hazy halo. It trembled. This kind of scene only made Xiaofan feel refreshed. What a powerful teleportation force. It feels as if the world has changed into mulberry fields and the stars have changed. A journey of 10,000 years was shortened to 15 days. This is definitely the means of an immortal. In front of such a mighty space transmission power, not only Xiaofan was shocked, even the countless evil heroes around the space springboard, including every Tower Master level expert, were deeply shocked, and their eyes almost became dull. Less than an hour later, the space transmission power disappeared. The waves calmed down. The space springboard that was originally full of people was now empty. It showed some loneliness and desolation. At this time, a few powerful Tower Masters said in a clear voice. Tower Masters of the various planes, come over. We'll discuss the order of teleportation. Teleport in an orderly manner. Don't mess up. Alright, you guys stay here. I'll go discuss with the Tower Masters of the other planes, said the Tower Master solemnly. I hope I can get a better order so that our plane can be teleported to the Genius Zone one step earlier and prepare in advance. With that, the Pagoda Master puffed out his chest and flew towards the other Pagoda Masters from the other planes. Xiaofan looked at the back of the Pagoda Lord and laughed coldly. What kind of good order can we get from our plane? It's already very good that I'm not ranked last. That's right, the overall strength of our plane is too weak. Xiao Mingchu also smiled in shame. Then, he stared at Xiaofan. Junior brother Xiaofan, the law of the jungle prevails in this world. The strong survive and the weak die. The weaker planes have no right to speak. For a plane like ours, if we have to queue up to enter the space springboard, we'll be at the bottom. Sigh, this is so frustrating. Junior brother Xiaofan, I'm afraid that the Tower Master will not be able to do much. I hope that you can lead our plane to win back our dignity. Oh, Xiaofan was taken aback. Then, he shook his head and laughed. Eldest senior brother, you're exaggerating. After saying that, Xiaofan sat down cross-legged in the void. He glanced around and saw the Tower Masters of the 19 planes gathered together and communicating rapidly. As for the Tower Masters of Xiaofan's plane, they were nodding and bowing, their faces full of smiles. They kept nodding their heads like chicks pecking at rice, their attitude extremely flattering. How boring. Xiaofan shook his head and took out some aged wine from his storage ring, as well as some dried chicken, duck, and fish. He distributed them to Xiao Mingchu and the rest with a smile. Eldest senior brother, we don't have to rush. It looks like we'll have to queue up for a long time. Let's drink. Let's drink while we wait. All right. Xiao Mingchu, Luo Tianyu, and a few other evil warriors immediately gathered around. After a short while, the Tower Master of Xiaofan's plane finally returned to his camp. Oh this. The Tower Master's face was slightly awkward. He hesitated for a long time before stammering. After I discussed with the other Tower Masters, we decided on the order of entering the space springboard. We're not at the bottom. We're at the 15th position. Hua, as soon as he said that, the dozens of chivalrous spirits and the 12 elders all hissed. The 15th position? Yes, they were not at the bottom. They were not the last to enter the space springboard. However, there were only 19 planes in total. To queue up and be the 15th to enter the space springboard was extremely shameful. Alright, a moment of failure doesn't mean anything. Who knows, we might be able to gain something in the genius zone and launch a counterattack against those powerful planes. Who knows, we might even surpass them. The one who laughs at the end is the real winner. The Tower Master said a bunch of self-comforting words and sat down cross-legged. Everyone, please wait patiently. Soon, the first plane to enter the space springboard was led by a Tower Master whose entire body was burning with holy flames and whose aura could cause the stars to tremble. The Tower Master's lineup was at its peak, and they entered the space springboard in a single file. What a powerful plane. It's several times more powerful than the Rome plane. There are more than 100 elders and no less than 20 elders who have opened their heaven eyes. Xiaofan held his breath. Not long after, the teleportation formation engraved on the springboard began to operate. Immortal light splashed everywhere, runes rose, and the entire springboard rumbled. Less than an hour later, everyone in that plane was teleported away. It's our turn. Another big shot whose body was glowing with boundless light stepped forward and led the thousands of fiends under his command toward the space gangplank. Boys, start the teleportation. Go to the genius zone immediately. Just like that, 19 planes lined up and took turns to enter the space springboard. Bursts of huge space teleportation power swept across, and the colorful light took away the evil heroes from each plane. Xiaofan's plane began to wait. TSK. I wonder what it will be like after the teleportation. Xiao Mingchu stared at the space springboard. We'll see when the time comes. Eldest senior brother, it's almost our turn. Xiaofan shrugged and smiled. Ha, let's drink. It's still early. We're only in the 6th batch. Luo Tianyu raised his cup and smiled. Wait. Finally, after who knew how many hours had passed, it's our turn. Finally, it's our turn. We've waited for so long. We can't wait anymore. Let's go. Let's enter the space springboard too. Ha ha ha. Finally, it was Xiaofan's turn to enter the space springboard. Be it the pagoda master, the 12th elder or the evil warriors, they were all excited and their blood was boiling. They rubbed their palms and rushed to the space springboard. Eldest senior brother. Let's go. Xiaofan rubbed his hands and jumped onto the space springboard. Let's go. Xiao Mingchu and Luo Tianyu stood on the left and right. On the space springboard. It was a meteorite with a length and width of a few hundred miles. The mysterious immortal qi was enshrouding the meteorite. Xiaofan and the others walked on the meteorite. Immortal talismans that looked like mirages swam around them like fish. They looked like they were made of jade, shining brightly and emitting a warm aura. It made everyone feel as if they were soaking in a hot spring. Their limbs and bones felt very comfortable. What pure immortal qi! The pagoda master opened the heavenly eye between his eyebrows and shot out a misty light, sweeping around. The immortal qi lingering on the space springboard is of an extremely high quality. TSK, it's much higher than the immortal qi in our world. If we absorb this immortal qi to refine our bodies, then forget it, how would I dare to absorb the immortal qi here? This immortal qi was left behind by the immortal who set up the teleportation grand array. I guess it's just an ordinary perfected immortal in the immortal world, not an immortal emperor. Then, the genius zone was created by immortal Emperor Zhu Dao, who was ranked 3rd in the history of the immortal world. The quality of the immortal qi here must be much higher than here. TSK, I can't imagine. Let's go. Everyone, move forward. Follow me. The teleportation grand array is right in front of us. Let's hurry. Quick. Move faster. The pagoda master led the way. The others followed closely behind. Not long after, finally, an array with obscure lines and strands of immortal qi appeared in front of everyone. Strands of immortal qi flowed back and forth. Everyone stepped into the array and felt as if they were in a heavenly palace. It was too much for their eyes to take in, how magical. Xiaofan was also secretly amazed. He lowered his head and observed carefully. He also found that the array on the ground had vaguely outlined some universe space coordinates. In the middle of the array, there was a concave array eye. It was filled with the lingering smell of the supreme grade true qi spirit stones after they were burned. Everyone, stand properly. I am now going to put the supreme grade true qi spirit stones into the array eye. The teleportation is about to begin. Stand properly. The pagoda master walked to the array eye, trembling. The 12th elder, Yan Qi, and many other demon warriors were nervous and excited. They were like bridegrooms entering the bridal chamber for the first time and did not know where to place their hands and feet. Master, let's also get close to the array eye. Although Xiaofan's 5 demon warrior slaves were manipulated by Xiaofan and controlled perfectly, they still had their own thoughts and emotions. They were not pure puppets. At this time, they were going to officially go to the genius zone. They could not help but be excited. At this time, the pagoda master had already begun to take out a large number of supreme-grade true qi spirit stones from his storage ring and put them into the huge concave array eye. Boom! 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 The supreme-grade true qi spirit stones began to burn. The entire space gangplank began to tremble. The space grand array was activated. Whoosh whoosh whoosh, the power of teleportation rippled like waves, sweeping through everyone's bodies. Continue to put in supreme-grade true qi spirit stones. The pagoda master quickly threw the supreme-grade true qi spirit stones he had prepared in advance into the array eye. After a moment, buzz 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 buzz, more than 10 demon warriors disappeared at the same time. Whoosh whoosh whoosh, beams of teleportation light shone on Xiaofan's body. In an instant, Xiaofan felt as if there was nothing beneath his feet. His feet had actually disappeared. Soon, his entire lower body disappeared. The teleportation has begun. The genius zone, I, Xiaofan, am coming. After a few breaths, Xiaofan's entire body disappeared. Chapter 460. 15191, Type, Fantasy Magic Author, My ugliness reaches the depths of my soul. This chapter, 460, Zhu Dao's Lair. 15191, Save, the Tower Master threw the true Qi Spirit Stone into the concave eye of the formation on the space springboard. The raging energy burned and the great teleportation power surged like a tide. The teleportation began. The entire space gangplank began to tremble, radiating waves that caused one's heart to palpitate. All the monsters in Xiaofan's dimension were sucked into the teleportation power and disappeared without a trace. In the end, the Tower Master also disappeared. Genius Zone, I'm coming. The Pagoda Master also roared. Buzz buzz buzz. During the teleportation, Xiaofan only felt that his body was as light as a feather. His spirit fluctuation was deeply confined and condensed into a ball in Xiaofan's sea of consciousness. Furthermore, his line of sight was filled with blurry rays of light. Dazzling formations flew past Xiaofan's body at a rapid speed. Xiaofan's body could not move at all, he could not see the other monsters in his dimension. It was as if he was at the mercy of others. I have to teleport for a full 15 days. I have never done such a long teleportation before. I can't control my whole body. Xiaofan said in his heart. Then, he closed his eyes and pretended to sleep. A long teleportation. Regardless of day and night. It was extremely boring, but there was an indescribable excitement. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 15 days later. Boom! A violent jolt caused Xiaofan's entire body to tremble. His vision was dark. Xiaofan even felt the space collapsing. I've arrived. The teleportation power has disappeared. I think the teleportation has ended. I've arrived at Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's lair. In a trance, Xiaofan heard voices, including the panicked and confused voices of Xiao Mingchu, Luo Tianyu, and the others. After a short while. Rumble rumble rumble, the space shook. Then, Xiaofan only felt that his feet were steady, as if he had stepped on solid ground. Xiaofan quickly steadied himself. He squinted his eyes, not daring to open them completely. His line of sight was filled with colorful spots of light. After several hundred breaths of time, the spots of light finally solidified into human figures. Xiaofan spat out a mouthful of turbid air and opened his eyes wide. He saw that he was surrounded by people: Pagoda Master, the 12th Elder, Yan Qi Xiao Mingchu, Luo Tianyu. There were dozens of heroes. His 5 slaves. Everyone has arrived. Xiaofan heaved a sigh of relief. Then, Xiaofan looked up. In an instant. He was dumbfounded. He was stunned. Dumbfounded. He was petrified. His eyes were filled with people. It was a dense mass of people. This was a huge piece of land. Floating in the vast universe. Stand still. This land. It was hard to tell how big it was, but it stretched out endlessly, as if there was no end to it. Xiaofan roughly estimated that the length and width of this land was definitely more than 10 million miles. Wow! Such a huge piece of land. It's comparable to the territory of most of the powerful empires in our plane. It's too big, too spectacular. Xiaofan sighed in his heart. However, compared to this boundless land, what made him sigh even more was the people. There were so many of them that they looked like ants. Xiaofan swore that he had never seen so many people before. Absolutely not. The endless stretch of land was filled with people. Heads were moving. There was a sea of people. Xiaofan looked as far as his eyes could see. It was all people, and he could not see the end. Brown-skinned people, black people, yellow-skinned people, white people, people wearing light armor, people wearing cloaks, people wearing battle armor, men, women, youths, middle-aged people, old people. How many people were there? Tens of millions? 100 million? Xiaofan could not imagine. Just the sight of so many people made his scalp go numb. His heart was instinctively filled with fear and panic. A person in such a crowd was like a foam in the ocean. It was too insignificant. So many people. I can't count. Xiao Mingchu instinctively lowered his voice. His voice was trembling, and his legs were trembling. He slowly approached Xiaohan. His forehead was full of cold sweat. Junior brother Xiaohan. I have never seen so many people gathered together in my life. I'm afraid there are close to 100 million people. It's several times more than what we imagined. It's too terrifying. With so many people, if each of them blew a breath, a planet would explode. Xiao Mingchu was not the only one who was scared silly. Even Xiaohan, who had unparalleled soul power, felt uncertain and very depressed. Eldest senior brother, there are so many people. Among them, there are many half-immortals with immortal eye realm and heaven eye realm. The aura is too terrifying. Now, I suspect that if a few ordinary immortals came here, they would be drowned by the people here. With so many people, we can kill immortals. We can definitely kill immortals. These people are the elites of countless ordinary planes. There are so many pagoda masters. We can definitely kill immortals. Even ants can bite an elephant to death. Xiao Mingchu said in deep thought. Shu, the pagoda master, shrunk back and turned around. He put his right middle finger on his lips and made a shushing gesture, indicating Xiaohan to keep his voice down. Boom 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 boom, there were already quite a lot of people on this continent, but there was still an endless stream of people being teleported here from all over the place. The people standing on the continent spontaneously divided themselves into groups according to their planes. The barriers were clear and distinct, one by one. They didn't dare to speak loudly. They didn't even dare to breathe loudly. They were all well behaved and stood where they were, not moving an inch. No plane, no matter how powerful it was, would dare to disturb another plane in this extremely oppressive atmosphere. This was also why each plane was able to live in peace with each other. It took a while to adapt. Only then did Xiaohan get used to the heavy atmosphere. Then, he looked left and right. In this place, Xiaohan's spiritual force was suppressed. His spiritual force, which could normally cover millions of miles, was now tightly confined in a small area, unable to be released. Because there were too many people, and each of their auras was not weak. All kinds of auras were gathered together. So, once Xiaohan released his spiritual force, it was like hitting an iron plate, unable to dilute or penetrate it. Xiaohan observed inch by inch. There were countless people of all shapes and sizes, and there were all kinds of people. Some people emitted an aura that was like the arrival of the god of death. Some people emitted a thick bloody aura, causing people to involuntarily feel fear. Some people's willpower could definitely cause the opponent's soul to collapse instantly. Some people's aura was full of killing intent. Some people's aura was even more violent than the space storm. After looking for a while, Xiaohan's head was already swollen. He didn't dare to look for too long. Then, he looked away and looked outside this vast continent. Xiaohan looked around. In the distant starry sky, there were countless small stars, planets, and ordinary planets without life. However, in front of him, extremely far away, there was a pure black planet floating in the air. This black planet seemed to be sealed by some kind of restriction. Therefore, people couldn't see its interior. They could only see a deep darkness. It was like an abyss. However, they could still vaguely feel that there was a subtle immortal chi radiating from the inside of the black planet. When they looked closely, it gave people an illusion that there was something mysterious and unimaginable inside the black planet. Eldest senior brother, look, that huge black planet in front of us. Xiaofan couldn't help but whisper to Xiao Mingchu. I sensed that the interior of the black planet gave off the scent of a mystical kingdom. However, the entire black planet was sealed, making it impossible for anyone to see its full appearance. However, I had a feeling that there must be treasures inside the black planet. Yes, I also have the same feeling. Could it be that that is the genius zone? Xiao Mingchu also looked at the black planet in shock. We can't say that the black planet is just the genius zone. At this moment, an elder who was standing not far away from Xiaofan walked a few steps forward and said in a low voice. If I'm not wrong, that place is the old nest of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao. It's so big. Too big. The area of this old nest is not smaller than our plane. Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao is really powerful and supreme. This is just one of the places where he stored his treasures in the lower realm. It's like a warehouse. Just the size of a warehouse is comparable to our plane. Just thinking about it makes me feel terrified. Our mental strength is not enough to penetrate through the restriction of the black planet. Therefore, we can only feel a trace of extremely weak immortal chi seeping out from the inside of the black planet. If an immortal were to observe it, he would be able to roughly see the bright civilization inside the black planet and the endless aura of immortal treasures. According to the description of the immortal world, the old nest of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao has piles of immortal pills, immortal weapons, and immortal techniques. His wealth is immeasurable. Seriously speaking, the Genius Zone is just a small part of the old nest of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao. The Genius Zone is the outermost layer of this black planet. It's not the core. There's no definite information about how many layers there are in the old nest of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao. Maybe it's the 5th layer, the 6th layer, or the 7th layer. The only thing we can be sure of is that the deeper it is, the richer the treasures and the higher the quality. The outermost layer of the Genius Zone has fewer treasures and the quality is also lower. Of course, even so, it's still an extremely terrifying resource for us in the mortal world. A few immortal pills can change the fate of the entire plane. Every layer of the old nest of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao has its own rules and restrictions. Immortals are not allowed to enter the outermost layer of the Genius Zone. People over 10,000 years old are not allowed to enter. The elder started to introduce the place without stopping. At last, the elder said again. Everyone, please wait patiently. In about 7 days, the Genius Zone will be opened. The moment the Genius Zone opens, it will be a glorious moment. Yes, this is the lair of the 3rd-ranked Immortal Emperor in the history of the immortal world. Just entering it once will not be a waste of your life. It's a pity that our age does not meet the requirements to enter the Genius Zone. Another elder said with a face full of pity. Few big senior brother, there are still 7 days left. Let's sit down and wait. Xiaofan sat down cross-legged. There were so many people, and there were countless experts among them. Xiaofan's mental state became very tired after looking at them for a long time. Therefore, Xiaofan stopped observing and sat down to adjust his state of life and mental state. Chapter 461. A huge continent that was comparable to the territory of the most powerful empire of any plane was floating in the vast universe. More than 100 million human clan Taoists were clearly divided. They formed their own camps and lined up on this continent, waiting. They were looking forward to the opening of the Genius Zone. There was a black planet right in front of this continent. Inside this black planet, there would occasionally be supreme immortal chi leaking out. This was the treasure of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao. The first layer of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's lair, the Genius Zone, would be opened in 7 days. Most of the Taoists were sitting cross-legged now. They were extremely nervous and anxious, but they did not dare to make any noise. They could only wait patiently. However, the Taoists from the same plane would talk to each other in a low voice. The scene was too quiet and deathly still. Now, Xiaofan's depressed and suffocating state of mind had finally calmed down. The liquid spiritual force star in his sea of consciousness was slightly opened and secreted a cool stream, watering Xiaofan's pores, blood, and skin, making Xiaofan's spirit clear. Junior brother Xiaofan, let's close our eyes and take a nap. The atmosphere is too depressing. It makes one's spirit uncomfortable. It's very exhausting. Let's take a rest. Anyway, there are still 7 days before the Genius Zone opens. It's useless for us to stare at it now. Xiao Mingqiu subconsciously yawned and said to Xiaofan in a low voice. Okay, Xiaofan nodded and closed his eyes. Soon, Xiaofan heard it. Faint snoring sounds could be heard from all directions. It seemed that it was not only the chivalrous heroes from Xiaofan's plane who chose to take a nap. Most of the chivalrous heroes from other planes also had their eyelids heavy and were unconsciously immersed in dreamland. Xiaofan's mental strength was strong, so he did not fall asleep. While he closed his eyes to rest, his mind was spinning. The Genius Zone. It's about to open. In the history of the immortal world, the third-ranked Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao, left behind treasures in this world. It was said that it was the accumulation of his entire life. This Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao. He was known as the Immortal Emperor of the entire immortal world. He was the Immortal Emperor with the most treasures. Compared to the first and second-ranked Immortal Emperors, the temptation was indeed huge. No wonder countless planes were gathering their elites and were led by the Pagoda Master. Coming out in full force, let's not guess if this Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao has fallen. Is Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao stronger than the demon god in my heart? If he fought with the demon god, who would win? I encountered a mysterious immortal on the way back from the mission of sneaking into the demon metropolis to assassinate Yen Lang. Who is he? Was he an immortal emperor? Although the demon egg in my heart has been sealed by the myriad immortal grand formation and many immortal talismans, there will still be a day when it breaks out of its cocoon. Once the demon god merges its soul with the invincible cosmic beast, it will become an invincible evil creature that can dominate the myriad of worlds. I must improve my combat strength as soon as possible and cultivate my saber intent to perfection. Only then will I be able to save myself. As soon as he calmed down, Xiaofan's mind was in a mess, as all sorts of thoughts filled his mind. Xiaofan understood that he had already fallen into a situation that was beyond redemption. In the heart, there was the most terrifying evil spirit in the universe, which could be brewing and exploding at any time. Genius Zone. Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure. Xiaofan slowly opened his eyes and looked at the black planet. I, Xiaofan, of course, covet the treasure of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao. This is related to whether I, Xiaofan, can survive. There are so many geniuses competing with me, Xiaofan, but in order to survive, Xiaofan will not hesitate to fight. I am not afraid of any competitors. A strong belief slowly rose from Xiaofan's heart. Time seemed to be stretched. Every day seemed to be very long. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 7 days of waiting seemed to be particularly anxious. Every chivalrous swordsman on the platform now deeply understood the essence of passing a day like a year. However, no matter how hard it was to wait, time would still pass inadvertently, finally. 7 days passed. The auspicious day for the opening of the Genius Zone had arrived. Buzz buzz buzz, suddenly, there was a faint glimmer of light on the black planet. Ah! There's movement. Finally, there's movement. It's the location of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's lair. It's reflecting light. Yes. There seems to be a huge change brewing inside the black planet. It's opening. It's about to open. After waiting for so many days, I feel like I'm sitting on pins and needles. It's finally here. It's not easy. What a grand occasion. This is an unprecedented grand occasion. An almost invincible immortal emperor secretly left his lair in the mortal world. It's going to unveil its mysterious veil in front of us. So excited. This seat's soul is trembling. In an instant, the demon warriors who were sitting, lying, or crouching all jumped up from the ground. All of them, regardless of whether they were at the Tower Master level, the Elder level, or the Demon Warrior level, focused their eyes and stared at the location of the black planet without blinking. They did not even dare to blink. They were afraid of missing any details. Everyone was witnessing a great miracle at the same time. At this moment, some people were completely holding their breath. Some people's faces were flushed. Some people used their hands to press on their hearts, trying their best to keep it stable. Some people were so nervous that they could not stand steadily and needed the support of their companions. They went through all the hardships and did not hesitate to do the most terrifying roaming and shuttling in the universe. They risked their lives to come here. Now, the moment of unveiling was coming. Xiaofan was also extremely nervous. He kept sticking out his tongue and licking his dry and dehydrated lips. He clenched his fists and stared at the black planet without blinking. All eyes were on him. Time seemed to freeze. At this moment, suddenly, the black planet moved. Then, buzz, the black planet. It seemed to move twice. Then, 3 times. 4 times. 5 times. The black planet continued to move rhythmically, and the frequency was getting faster and faster. And every time it moved, it would affect the hearts of billions of people. Every time it moved, the demon warriors' hearts would twitch. Puff. 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 The black planet expanded and shrank crazily, and the frequency of the rhythm became faster and faster. With the black planet as the center, sound waves were emitted in all directions. In an instant, the universe's earth was rolling under the sound waves, the air was shaking under the sound waves, flames emerged from inside the black planet, cold air was also wantonly ejected from inside the black planet, blue heavenly fire. Weeping gold cold air. They were all drifting everywhere. At this moment, the originally quiet universe seemed to have become a world like the abyss of hell. The continent where many demon warriors were located began to tremble. Every demon warrior on it. They were all panicking. But none of them dared to act rashly. He continued to stare at the black planet without blinking. The next moment, boom, finally. A layer of restriction on the surface of the black planet seemed to have broken. Light shone brightly, and there were destructive waves everywhere. This formation was like thousands of immortals attacking together. Their power and momentum were simply overwhelming the universe, swallowing the Milky Way, blowing up the planet, and leaving dust everywhere. The sound of the planet's disintegration was endless. In an instant, countless explosions were triggered from the surface of the black planet. Layers of beautiful multicolored light bloomed like flowers. However, although these multicolored lights looked gorgeous and beautiful, they were extremely powerful. Even the space crystal wall was crushed. This was simply the divine light of the immortal path, which could only be released by immortals. Then, crack, the surface of the black planet began to crack. Some inexplicable substances began to fall off. Then, an unparalleled radiance appeared. The substances that fell off the surface of the black planet were crushed into nothingness by the multicolored light as soon as they fell off. Gradually, the surface of the black planet was no longer dark, but a small world of light appeared. A mysterious spacetime. In it, there were many magical treasures, endless elixirs, mountains of ores, several Taoist books, and even powerful energy and the true meaning of the immortal path left behind by immortals. After the black restriction fell off, a world that looked like a fairyland was revealed. All the heroes could see that in this independent world, the sky was so blue, the clouds were as soft as silk, and the water was so clear that they could see the lines on the pebbles at the bottom of the water. All kinds of ancient trees from the immortal world were thousands of meters tall, and their roots were like dragons. All of them were mottled with the traces of time. In this world, there were many immortal palaces, heavenly palaces, and the embryonic form of the halls of heaven. There were countless halls, and numerous magnificent pillars that towered into the sky. There were layers upon layers of doors, just like an ancient maze. This world was as beautiful as a painting. It was truly mesmerizing. Moreover, it gave people an extremely dreamy, unreal, and unattainable feeling. It's open. The genius zone is open. The immortal world. After the restriction on the surface of the black planet peeled off, the immortal world appeared inside. So beautiful. So spectacular. This is the genius zone. The surface of immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's lair? It's indescribable. It's vast and indescribable. So many treasures. Oh my God. I see so many treasures. Immortal pills. Immortal qi. Such pure and elegant immortal qi. Just a little bit of it to nourish the body will bring endless benefits. To be able to enter the genius zone, even if it's just for a day, no, half a day, or even an hour, my life will not be in vain. In other words, our genius heroes below 10,000 years old can directly enter the genius zone and pick up treasures? Oh my God! This genius zone is only on the surface, and it's already so magical and dazzling. What will happen if we go deep into the core? No, 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 the core is not something we can get our hands on. No. I'm not being delusional. I just want to get a little benefit from the genius zone. As long as it's something as rare as phoenix feathers and Qilin horns, I'll be satisfied. The mission of us mortals is to help the immortals in the upper realm to open up the genius zone. The core is the goal of the immortals. On this continent, the sounds of dreams, exclamations, and screams rang out one after another. So this is what the genius zone looks like. Could this be the legendary immortal world? It's about time. This is probably what the immortal world looks like. It's so great. Xiaofan's eyes were filled with dreamy colors. The genius zone is finally open. Xiao Mingchu's voice trembled and choked with emotion. To be continued. Chapter 462. Under everyone's gaze. The genius zone was finally open. However, none of the chivalrous heroes standing on that continent dared to move. No one dared to be the first to fly towards the genius zone. Each and every one of them stood there like a wooden statue. Their brains were filled with excitement, yet they were also inexplicably terrified. Everyone's blood was surging like a tide. At this moment. Ha 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 good. I believe that with the opening of the lair I left behind in the mortal world, there will be a large number of mortals attempting to enter and explore. Ha 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 ha, a series of laughter came from inside that planet. This laughter was very spacious and sounded very indifferent. However, it contained a supreme and invincible aura. It contained the will of an immortal emperor. It caused the entire starry sky to tremble and sway. The sovereign descends to the world. In the 10 heavens and 9 earths, I am the only one. Under the influence of this voice, all mortals were insignificant. It caused countless chivalrous heroes standing on the continent, including the Tower Masters, to feel uneasy. They could only submit and worship it. Their bones were twitching. In an instant, everyone quieted down. Then, boom boom boom, most of the chivalrous heroes present knelt down. Just the voice of an immortal emperor was enough to make mortals kneel down. Suddenly, Xiaofan was also shocked by this mysterious and invincible aura. He was so shocked that his knees buckled. He was about to kneel down. However, the spiritual power planet in his sea of consciousness trembled. Gentle spiritual power flowed out like a spring and spread to Xiaofan's limbs and bones. The pressure on Xiaofan was relieved and he did not kneel down in the end. Xiaofan glanced around with the corner of his eyes. He found that not only Xiao Mingchu, Luo Tianyu, Yan Qi, and the other chivalrous heroes had already knelt down with pale faces. Even the 12 elders and the tower masters had knelt down at this moment. In order not to appear too abrupt, Xiaofan also remained calm. He pretended to half-squat and kneel down. Soon, more than 100 million chivalrous heroes gradually knelt down. All of them were as silent as cicadas in winter. Their eyes naturally emitted an attitude of reverence. The scene was dead silent. Ha 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 ha, this emperor's lair opens once every 3,000 years. Yes, I'm not in the lair right now. What you're hearing is a voice message that I left behind before. Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao is not in his lair. Could it be that he has fallen? Xiaofan pondered. The voice you are hearing is the first set of voices that I left behind. If this voice still exists and hasn't dissipated, that means that no one has been able to enter the first level of my lair, the Genius Zone. Once someone successfully enters the Genius Zone, this set of voices will automatically disappear. Sigh. I wonder if the geniuses from the various ordinary planes will be able to meet the requirements to enter the Genius Zone of the first layer of my lair this time. I have set up a restriction in the Genius Zone. Immortals are not allowed to enter. Once they do, they will be killed immediately. Mortals over 10,000 years old are not allowed to enter either. They will die if they do. Ha ha ha. This seat has always been kind to others. Therefore, the requirements to enter the Genius Zone are not harsh. On the contrary, it's very simple. As long as they are below 10,000 years old and are mortals, they can come in and try their luck. Ha ha ha. However, this seat has to remind one thing. If your cultivation base is weak, you will overestimate yourself and enter the Genius Zone. It will be very easy for you to die. Of course, if your cultivation base is weak, you can also try your luck and enter the Genius Zone. But if you die, don't blame this seat for not reminding you beforehand. Ha 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 ha. This immortal Emperor Zhu Dao seems to be a bit unreasonable. Xiaofan instinctively felt it. Continue. This seat's lair is divided into 4 layers. The Genius Zone is only the first layer. In the 4th layer, there are some treasures that are unique in the heavens and earth. They are even rare in the immortal world. Ha ha ha. This seat has liked to collect treasures since young. My wealth is comparable to a country. It's not exaggerating to say that this seat's treasures are probably equal to the resources and treasures of the entire immortal world. In fact, the quantity and quality of my treasures are slightly higher than the treasures of the entire immortal world. Ha 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 ha. Mortals, are you very excited to hear this news? Very excited? Ha 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 ha. Just the treasures of immortal Emperor Zhu Dao alone are comparable to the treasures of the entire immortal world? Xiaofan's heart trembled when he heard this. Terrifying. This is really too terrifying. No wonder countless immortals in the immortal world coveted this lair of immortal Emperor Zhu Dao. They did not hesitate to spend energy and resources to build so many space springboards for us mortals to use. Xiaofan's heart trembled. The Genius Zone is the outermost layer of my lair. The treasures placed there are indeed not worth mentioning in the immortal world. There are some immortal pills, immortal equipment, ordinary offensive immortal treasures, defensive immortal treasures. Oh, right, there are also a few immortal treasures with special functions. As for low-level immortal techniques and secret manuals, there are also a few thousand of them. The more precious treasures, immortal pills and immortal chi are placed in the 2nd, 3rd and 4th layer. However, no one, including other immortal emperors, can directly enter the second, third and fourth layer of my lair. It can be said that the genius zone is the key to the second layer. The second layer is the key to the third layer. The third layer is the key to the fourth layer. Layer by layer. Step by step. Furthermore, each level has its own special restrictions. I won't reveal the restrictions of the second, third, and fourth levels for now. Wait until you open the genius zone first. What is certain is that the death rate in the genius zone is also very high. Mortals who enter the genius zone. You must be mentally prepared beforehand. No matter how monstrous you are. As long as you dare to enter, there is a possibility that you will die. If you are afraid of death, then don't enter as soon as possible. After a long time, Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's voice suddenly became a little lonely. Why did I divide my lair into 4 layers? Why do I have to set all kinds of restrictions? Heh. Sigh, thinking back to my past. I've roamed the immortal world unhindered for my entire life. I've always been arrogant and unruly. But now? According to my personality, I won't easily hand over all the treasures I've accumulated my entire life to someone else. I'll definitely set up some barriers. Those who are capable will take it. On one hand, I want to manipulate you. To treat you as chess pieces. To obtain my treasures. It is not that easy. However, in terms of the quality of the treasures. There's nothing wrong with you guys being my puppets and chess pieces for a while. You will also be willing. You can't wait to be manipulated by me. Ha 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 ha. On the other hand. Sigh, I have been a loner all my life. I have no heirs or descendants. I don't even have a disciple. I have been lonely all my life. Although I am an immortal emperor, in the end, I am also lonely all my life. Lonely. In the end, I found out that I am so lonely. Compared to the common people in the secular world, I am still lacking. What a pity. My mantle doesn't have a successor. Therefore, the first layer of my lair, the genius zone, is prepared for the geniuses of ordinary planes who are under 10,000 years old. This is a test. My wish is to choose one of you geniuses from the secular world to inherit my legacy. Inherit my invincible saber Dao. There can only be one successor to the legacy. At the core of the fourth layer, there is my orthodoxy. You geniuses, whoever can walk to the end, break through the checkpoints one by one, and finally enter the fourth layer, will be able to obtain my orthodoxy. From then on, you will soar to the sky, move unhindered in the immortal world, demon world, and dominate the universe. The fourth layer has Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's orthodoxy. Whoever can obtain it will directly inherit Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's position in the immortal world. For a moment, all the geniuses on the continent felt their blood boiling and completely ignited. A chance for a carp to jump over the dragon gate. It was definitely a chance for a carp to jump over the dragon gate. However, there could only be one successor to his legacy. Yes, there can only be one successor to the legacy. However, the others don't have to worry. Even if they can't inherit my legacy, as long as they are talented, skillful, and lucky, they can still obtain other treasures. Immortal pills and immortal chi are endless, all kinds of magical treasures are endless, and there is also the chance for immortal chi and immortal technique to be enlightened. In short, there are a lot of benefits. It depends on whether you have the ability to take them. Ha 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 ha. If you have the ability, you can have as many treasures as you want. There is no lack of treasures. Ha ha ha. Anyway, these treasures are useless to me. I'll just give them to you guys. Ha 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 ha. You guys are really lucky. Ha 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 ha. Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao should be the most powerful saber user in the immortal world. If I can obtain his orthodoxy and inherit his Dao of saber, my saber intent will definitely reach the godly level. Then, I'll be able to kill my inner demon and the soul of the demon god inside the demon egg. Xiaofan's heart was also burning with excitement. If I can activate my life saber chi and kill it before the demon god inside the demon egg fuses perfectly with the terrifying cosmic beast, then I, Xiaofan, will be able to escape and come back to life. Good. Good. Opportunity. An opportunity that can save my life. Xiaofan's eyes flashed with determination. For my life, I'll risk it all. I want to obtain Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's orthodoxy. I don't care about the other treasures. I want to pass through the 4 levels and obtain Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's inheritance and become his only disciple. Alright, I'm done with the simple rules. Now, those who meet the requirements can enter the Genius Zone. After entering the Genius Zone, there are other rules. At that time, I'll send a voice transmission to let those who enter know. Let's begin. The Genius Zone will close in 3 days. Hurry up and line up to enter. Finally, I'll remind you of a few points. Immortals and mortals above 10,000 years old, don't challenge my rules. Don't try to take advantage of the situation and teleport into the Genius Zone. That's courting death. Demon race? Yes, if any demon race wants to sneak in, they'll also be courting death. Once the demon race enters the Genius Zone, their demon power will be restricted. Ha ha ha. Those who are of the appropriate age must be silent when entering the Genius Zone. Fighting and quarreling are not allowed. That's blasphemy against me. Those who violate the rules will be obliterated. Alright, enter. 3 days later, the Genius Zone will close. You can no longer enter. Hurry up. Enter. 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 To be continued. Chapter 463. After Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao finished announcing the basic rules of the Genius Zone. Finally, the Genius Zone was completely open to the evil heroes of the right age who came to the continent. Now, all the evil heroes of the right age could fly into the Genius Zone. The first treasure hunt in Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's lair had officially begun. At this moment, Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's voice became silent and disappeared without a trace. The peerless pressure of the Immortal Emperor also disappeared, causing the evil heroes on the continent to stand up from their kneeling position. Each of them breathed out a mouthful of foul air, but they still had lingering fears. They did not doubt that the voice just now could destroy their divine souls with a flick of a finger. Soon, the tower masters of the various planes on the continent began to make emergency arrangements. A strange evil man wearing a black cloak with a strange bat embroidered on it looked at the hundreds of evil heroes under his command. His eyes were burning with passion as he let out a strange laugh. Children, enter the Genius Zone. Take back the immortal treasures. Yes. Tower Master. We will take the treasures in the Genius Zone. Tower Master, please wait for our good news. Hundreds of powerful evil heroes shouted in unison. All of them felt their blood boiling. Then, they controlled their true chi and flew towards the surface of the Black Planet, towards the Genius Zone that was as bright as the immortal world. A man in crimson battle armor appeared. His eyes were closed, and lightning seemed to shoot out from them. There was a faint red mark between his eyebrows, and his entire body was filled with an aura of immortality. The corners of his mouth curled up, and his fingers gently moved. The surrounding space began to ripple and even cracks appeared occasionally. It's open. The Genius Zone is finally open. Good, very good. Endless immortal pills for all to pick up. Moreover, the 4th level of the Genius Zone also contains the legacy of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao. Children. Let's attack. Break through the Genius Zone. Break through the levels one by one. I hope that the legacy of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao will fall into the hands of the geniuses of our plane. Let's go. Thousands of evil heroes burst out with thunderous roars. Then, they rode the clouds and flew into the Genius Zone. It was a bald giant shrouded in purple flames. His aura was like that of a god. Above his head, there was a mysterious pattern of the universe. He roared. "All of you, go to the Genius Zone. I don't have too many requirements for you. As for the second and third members of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's lair, I don't have many requirements for you. Fourth floor. I won't covet it anymore. However, you must obtain enough treasures from the Genius Zone. Otherwise, bring your head out to see me." Roar. Yes. Pagoda Master. The pagoda masters of every plane were encouraging their subordinates, causing their blood to boil with excitement. Disregarding life and death, he resolutely entered the Genius Zone. In fact, every single celestial pill and strand of celestial chi in the Genius Zone was extremely precious. They were all priceless treasures that could not be bred in the secular world. Therefore, almost without encouragement, the chivalrous swordsmen moved forward bravely, swearing to break into the Genius Zone even at the cost of their lives. At a time like this, almost no chivalrous hero would retreat. Even if he were to die, he would still charge forward. The fiendish heroes transformed into beams of true chi and charged into the Genius Zone. At a glance, they were like a swarm of locusts. They were densely packed. It was a ghastly sight. And in Xiaofan's plane, the pagoda master and the 12 elders were also making their final mobilization. Including Xiaofan, there were 76 people in this plane who met the conditions to enter the Genius Zone. Including Xiaofan's 5 slaves, there were 81 people. I won't say any more nonsense. The pagoda master's voice was completely distorted and hoarse. The rise and fall of this plane, the future development of this plane, all depends on you. Our plane is too weak. Bullied by others. The pagoda master's voice was completely choked. His eyes were red, and he was about to cry. I'm counting on you. Bring back celestial pills and celestial chi from the Genius Zone. All kinds of magic treasures. Although only a few dozen of you entered our plane, but I believe that you can create miracles. Please. Finally, the pagoda master cried. Many chivalrous heroes were deeply moved, and they all made vows. Pagoda master, don't worry. Even if we die, we will still get the treasures. Pagoda master, it's time for us to serve the plane. No one wants to be an ant. Fight. Fight with this life. Die without regrets. Pagoda master, don't worry and wait. Maybe, we can really create a miracle. Xiaofan sneered disapprovingly. This pagoda master is playing the emotional card at this time. Really? What an idiot. Bewitching people's hearts, making us risk our lives to search for treasures while he sits and enjoys the fruits of others' labor. Suddenly, the pagoda master looked at Xiaofan with tears in his eyes. Xiaofan. In fact, in our plane, you are the most competitive. You are the most monstrous, the most heaven-defying. You single-handedly annihilated all the elites of the Narong plane. Moreover, you even have an immortal artifact that can increase one's spiritual force. I'm the most optimistic about you. It's no exaggeration to say that you are the hope of our entire plane, Xiaofan. Xiaofan, for the plane, for your future, you must work hard. I am optimistic about you. Defeat all the competitors from other planes and stand out. Heh. I hope so. Xiaofan smiled coldly. Alright, everyone, make your final preparations. After that, let's go. Enter the Genius Zone as soon as possible, the pagoda master urged. Then, the dozens of fiends from Xiaofan's dimension quickly gathered in groups of 3 to 5 and started whispering to each other. Eldest senior brother, big brother Luo, let's fly in together. If we encounter any danger, I'll take you into the Despair Demon compound. However, the voice message left behind by Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao said that the demonic power of the demon race would be restricted in the Genius Zone. Although I'm not a monster, but my left arm, on the other hand, has refined the demon god's palm, and its demonic power is surging. At that time, I wonder if I can still unleash various demonic techniques. How about this? Eldest senior brother, why don't you guys enter the despair demon compound in my left arm now? Junior brother Xiaofan, this. Xiao Mingchu's eyes widened. A ray of light flashed across his eyes as he said resolutely. Forget it. Junior brother Xiaofan, if your demonic technique is restricted in the genius zone, then once we are teleported into the despair demon compound, I'm afraid we won't be able to come out. I also want to personally go to the genius zone to take a look and try my luck with immortal fate. It's dangerous, but if I miss this opportunity, I'll definitely die. He would regret it for the rest of his life. It's fine. I've decided to give it a try. I won't rely on junior brother Xiaohan's demonic technique anymore. Even if I'm killed by the geniuses from other planes, I'll die without regrets. After a pause, Xiao Mingchu smiled. Junior brother Xiaohan, don't worry too much about me. Maybe I'll have great luck. Not only will I not die, but I'll also gain something. Ha ha ha, that's hard to say, right? Luo Tianyu also laughed heartily. Yes, little brother Xiaohan. I'll also risk it. Riches are found in danger. This time, I'll go deep into the tiger's den. I'll also stake it all on one throw. Hearing this, Xiaohan immediately nodded. Alright, eldest senior brother, big brother Luo, let's teleport in together. When the time comes, we'll have companions and we can take care of each other. Alright. Xiao Mingchu and Luo Tianyu both nodded. At the same time, there were some other geniuses at the side. When they heard this, they all moved closer to Xiaohan. Xiaohan. Let's go together. These geniuses all knew how powerful Xiaohan was, so they also wanted to seek some protection. Even Yan Qi, who had fallen out with Xiaohan, shamelessly moved closer with a flattering smile. Xiaohan did not say much. He looked at his 5 slaves and asked, "What about you guys?" "Master, we'd like to try our luck as well." The 5 slaves were not afraid. "Alright. Everyone, let's go in together." Xiaohan's spirits lifted as he looked towards the genius zone. At this moment, the crowd was like a tide, surging towards the genius zone. "Let's go. Let's go in." Xiaohan suddenly rose into the air. Xiao Mingchu, Luo Tianyu, and the other geniuses immediately activated their true qi and followed beside Xiaohan. "Go in." Xiaohan's true qi surged out of his body, and his entire body shot into the genius zone like an arrow released from a bow. Xiao Mingchu and the others followed closely behind. In a few flashes, Xiaohan and the others entered the genius zone. "We're finally in. Our people are finally in." The pagoda master seemed to be sleep-talking. He clasped his hands together and prayed silently. "I don't ask for anything else. Even if it's a pot of immortal pills and a few immortal weapons, I'll be satisfied. Even if all the geniuses from our realm are annihilated, it'll be worth it if they can bring back some treasures." At this moment, Xiaohan. He flew into the dazzling light. He flew into the genius zone that was like a celestial realm. Boom, his feet were steady. His vision was filled with strange and dazzling lights. Countless twisted rays of light crisscrossed. Huff, Xiaohan shook his head forcefully and paused for dozens of breaths before his blurry vision returned to normal. When Xiaohan opened his eyes, he subconsciously called out. "Eldest senior brother, brother Luo, you guys, huh?" Unexpectedly, when Xiaohan opened his eyes, there was no one around him. Xiao Mingchu, Luo Tianyu, Yan Qi, and his 5 slaves were all gone. Not only was there no news of the geniuses from this realm, but there was also no sign of any geniuses from other realms. Not only was there no news from the chivalrous bird in this dimension, there was not even a shadow in the surroundings. There was not a single chivalrous bird in the other dimensions. Are you serious? Xiaofan was stunned. Countless geniuses were teleported here. There are at least tens of millions of them. They were teleported here like a swarm of bees. How come, there's not even a ghost around me? Immediately after, Xiaofan calmed himself down a little and started looking around. Xiaofan found that the place he was in was extremely elegant. There was a warm fragrance in the air, and there was a faint immortal aura in all directions. There were green hills and clear waters, torrential streams, fallen leaves dancing in the air, small bridges, and flowing water. The sky was blue, and the clouds were like silk. It was a completely otherworldly scene. However, it was a little too quiet. It seems that I've entered the genius zone. Xiaohan's eyes flickered. But what should I do now? Look for treasures? Look for immortal pills and various immortal weapons?